Hey, how you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Monday Mystery School. I am your host, Bro Sanchez, and if you give me 1 second here, I'm gonna cut this camera on and we finna get it in. But before we do any of that, how about a mic check? Let me get a one if my let me let me get a one if my audio is good. All right, thank y'all. All right, as you see the title, today we're going to be continuing our learning on the Baphomet, and we're going to be also going into some more history on world Phallicism and how they got the whole world brainwashed into this patriarchal mind state. So let me go ahead and just explain this thumbnail real quick because a lot of folks already know this without me having to say nothing. That Uncle Sam character is the Baphomet. And the reason I got this up here because we was talking about Papa Legba, Baron Samedi. We're going to be talking more about Papa Legba and Baron Samedi. On the left is Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam is a baron. When you say Baron Samedi, the word baron is a title. Barons are like knights when it comes to like a title. They're high up there on the royal family ranking list, a baron. Now, a baron is so high ranking it a baron is directly uh what am I what am I saying? A baron is someone who is in the royal family by blood, meaning you can't be a baron if you ain't born into the family. Like you can't take an oath and pledge and do the sorority, the whole little secret society. They swear into the royal family. They swear into it by oath. But some people are born into the royal family. You cannot be a baron unless you're born into the blood, to the family. So when you see Uncle Sam, when you see him with the top hat on, the top hat was worn by a lot of the barons. Now, there was a team in my hometown called the Birmingham Barons. And now I understand why their uniform was pinstripe like the Masons. The Birmingham Barons baseball team, their uniform is Masonic. And guess what else is so strange about the Birmingham Barons? Michael Jordan played for the Birmingham Barons. Michael Jordan is a very high ranking Omega and occultist. Today's lecture is not about Jordan, though. And I'm taking a minute to crank up here because I'm still getting my wake and bake. So bear with me and hit the like button, please. So I'm going to show you many forms of how barons deified themselves in literature and artwork so that you can stop looking at these guys as some spooky people. And today I'm going to be revealing to you the mystery of the Baphomet and why they so-called worship it. And it's not that they literally worship this goat god. It's a concept. And this goat god, being as hideous as he is, hides divine science. And I'll be getting into that. All right, let's go ahead and hop right into this thing. I'm ready now. Now I'm gonna keep this slide up here a minute because I want y'all to just look at that while I give you some other information. We about to get it in, folks. So Papa Lekbot was a spirit of the crossroads. You know what I'm gonna do? And instead of keeping that one up there, we're gonna go to this one. All right, we'll go to that one. And I'm going to get on camera for y'all just so we can see my face, see that we all woke up ready to go. And I hope y'all rolling with me. Thank you for your patience. You know, black folks don't really begin until 30 minutes after they say the shit gonna start. So I'm still ain't in that 30 minutes yet, so we ain't really technically began because I am a black man. So I get 30 minutes from the time I said the shit was gonna start. Now, hey, let me quit playing. But now let's take a look at these images behind me. Damn it. Okay, I'm in an awkward spot on camera because I got, shit all behind me and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And let me quit playing with y'all, man, and get into the lesson. All right, let's check out these pictures in front of you because we about to go deep. We about to go deep, but I'm taking my time. I'm taking my time. Uh, and I just woke up, as you can tell. All right, so Papa Lekba, as you see here. All right, again, now his origins is in Africa. Many people don't know that. Like I said, this is the African Baphomet. Now, he was said to be the guardian and trickster of the crossroads and interests. Listen to everything I'm teaching you today. Papa Lekba was a trickster. And also, some things about Papa Lekba that we don't know is that the color associated with Papa Lekba, the colors associated with Papa Lekba is purple and black. So I'm telling you now that Papa Lekba is the African Baphomet. He was also he is very respected in New Orleans and Haiti voodoo traditions. And he's seen as an elderly black man with a cane. He wears a straw hat. He smokes a pipe. We went into that. We ain't got to go into that again. We ain't got to go into it again. But what I want to point out about him is some different things we didn't point out about him last time. You know, he takes the place of the archangels. Like in the Christian cultures, you got the archangels. Him being a trickster at the crossroads, he's riddle me this, riddle me that. Depending on how you answer Papa Lekba at the crossroads determines whether you come back to this realm or move forward to another realm. You can never have a wrong answer when you're confronted by the great trickster because he is a reflection of you. It's not some spooky dude outside of yourself playing tricks on you. When they said a mind playing tricks on you, you live inside of your mind. The reality is made up here. This the only thing that you take with you. The body go in the ground. The experiences of the mind goes on to another uh, uh, avatar. Just like a flash drive switches modems, you know. So this concept of Papa Lekba is dealing with the great Papa, which is a human's aura. He's a guardian, meaning over your shoulder, and that is an oracle. But that's really a personification of the human's aura. I want to take the spookism out of this today, right? When you see the horns on his head, let me show you something before we go any further. Let's do this real quick. Every human is enclosed in a bioelectric energy field, and I always go over this and talk about this with y'all, so I'm not going to be too redundant. But what you're looking at here is Papa Lekba. Every last one of us is Papa Lekba because he's a concept. Just like we say everyone is a Christ, Papa Lekba is just another Christ consciousness deity or Jesus. But he was the oldest form. In other words, all of the sun gods around the world first existed as Uncle Sam, the Baphomet. When you see the horns over the head, the horns over the head is exactly what we see here. The horns over the head is your crown chakra. Every human is a king and a queen wearing a crown, but you can't see it because you're too busy looking at Beyonce, Nicki Minaj, Master P. And you think that they're the kings and queens when, guess what? Those who are poor in physicality are rich in spirit. These rich folks ain't got the time to soul search like we doing. In fact, they don't pay their bills to be learning about chakras and all of that. They front like they do to fit in, but their God is money. Their God is corruption. Their God is control. And I'm going to be showing you how they corrupted all of this science in a minute when I go back to the Baphomet. But first we got to see, before we get into all this deep spooky stuff, I want to de-spookify it by showing you how it relates to you. So the horns on the head is you with the crown chakra and the energy coming out of the crown chakra. And that's the halo above Jesus' head. That's the cup on top of Serapis' head. We're going to be talking about Serapis in a minute. So now that I kind of de-spookified it a little bit, let's do this. Let's do this real quick. Let's keep it here. And let's learn some more. The reason I told you Papa Lekba's color is purple and black is for a reason. Bear with me, we about to read a little bit more. So there is often intermingling between Roman Catholicism and voodoo. And as a result, Catholic traditions are often associated with voodoo beliefs. Bandai, the supreme creator, is seen as God. Now, who is Bandai? Bandai is another form of Papa Lekba, and I'll be showing you him in a minute. Matter of fact, I can pull a picture of him up now. We ain't crunk up yet, y'all. We still in that 30-minute mark. Let's go ahead and get into the computer slides so we can work our way up to Bandai, because I don't want to be all over the place. This one right here, man, like I said, I just woke up, but we about to get it in. All right, hold on a second. Boom. Now, I talked to you earlier. I told you that Papa Lekba was the great trickster, representing the duat. When you see the Baphomet with one hand up and one hand down, that's the yin and the yang. But it also was seen as two-faced deities. So in a lot of cultures, you got these deities with two heads to represent the duat. The Joker is a deity that represents the duat. Another form of the Joker is Two-Face. Two-Face is the Joker, representing the duat. Now, this Joker is a form of Papa Lekba. What you're looking at here is Papa Lekba, Bandai, the god of the crossroads. Now, one thing we want to pay attention to is what I keep on telling you. What is the colors of Papa Lekba? Purple and black. Purple and black are the colors of Papa Lekba. Now, I just read to you that the colors of Papa Lekba is purple and black, and he's the great trickster. And now I'm syncing Papa Lekba with the Joker, and we already found our purple and black. This is from Two-Face. Now let's go to the Joker. What is the Joker wearing? The Joker wearing purple and black. What am I doing right now? I'm syncing. Let me show you. I'm syncing this God up here to a modern day character that you call the Joker. Brother Sanchez, how can you do that? Well, let me show you. You got to understand what we're dealing with. Hold on. Here he is over here with the top hat and the cane. And we know the Joker wear purple and black, and he wear a top hat and a cane. This dude over here on the far right corner behind me with the top hat and cane is another form of Papa Lekba, another form of Baron Samedi. We're going to pay attention to the colors purple and black. We're going to pay attention to the top hat and the cane, as well as the cape, because we're dealing with sacred geometry right now. All right. Now, Joker is a clown. He's another creature that we call a clown. Now, today, clowns don't really get their respect, but what you got to realize is in the ancient day, a clown was a deity. Clowns rule the ancient world. Clowns are the Joker. Clowns are the tricksters of the underworld. And today, what do? They play tricks on you. That's what a clown do. If you ever hire a clown, that's what their job is, to play little tricks on you, make you laugh and stuff. So people, I really need your attention right now as we get deep into this, because we're talking about the God of the crossroads right now. We're talking about this guy who many call Papa Lekba Baron Samedi. When we talk about the God of the crossroads, in Christianity, it became the God of the cross, Jesus. This is the deity that the whole world worships today. What am I telling you, people? You really got to understand it, that everyone worships the Baphomet. You really need to think about what I'm telling you here. You really need to think about, you really need to think about it. I'm saying some bullshit, and not only am I saying it, I'm proving it video by video. Everyone worships the Baphomet, even your children. Now check this out. It's things in your reality that have made up your reality since a child that you have not questioned. The traditions, the symbolism that make up your reality, something simple as a clown, something that seemed harmless as a clown. Clowns may be seen as a good thing, but clowns are also a frightening thing. So there's a dual aspect to the clown. I just told you that another version of the clown is Two-Face. It can, see, they say the same thing that make you laugh and make you cry. That's the riddle of the Riddler. The Riddler with the question mark in Batman, that's Baron Samedi. The clown make you laugh, but the clown can make you cry. And that's the riddle of the Riddler. The Riddler represents a paradox. The Riddler, in the form of Jesus, uses a language called the parable. And that's the language of the two-faced Riddler, the trickster at the crossroads. And the reason he speaks that language is because Earth is a paradox. And if you focus on one aspect of the paradox, the rest of it fades into the background. And when you focus on the background, the other part fades into. You can only focus on one part at a time in a simple way, just to move on. We'll be explaining paradoxes more in detail in the future, but that's just a simple way. This God, the crossroads, is a part of our cosmos where physicality and ethereal reality exists side by side. And whenever you're transitioning in and out of one of them, you enter through the crossroads. Now, before it was personified as this guy, it was personified as a great mother with her legs open. And that became the story of Nebuchadnezzar, you going in and out of that womb or that crossroads, going back into the womb of your mother. That's reincarnation. Now they're trying to make a synthetic version of that journey and they're calling it CERN technology. If you didn't see the video I did previously on CERN and the goddesses, you better check that out. I'm not even going to talk about it. You just need to check that out. We're going to continue with more syncretism on Baron Samedi, Papa Legba, the Joker, the Riddler. Okay? Jesus was the Riddler. He spoke in riddle be this, riddle be that. That was a parable language. Now, a clown is a riddle. It can make you laugh. It can make you cry. And if you don't believe me, just look at the images in front of you. On one hand, it can be friendly. On the other hand, it can be frightening as hell. Now, what's the red nose all about? Because one of the signature features of the clown is the shiny, shiny red nose. Well, I got news for you folks. The nose of the clown is the penis of the Baphomet. So there was a character called Pinocchio, and his nose rose every time he lied. And that's a symbolic. See, if you don't understand how to speak the symbolic language of the Riddler, you'll never understand that that's sex. Pinocchio is a blending of Pan and Enoch. Those were two deities that represent resurrection. Pan with the erected phallus, and Enoch going up to heaven. Pan and Enoch became Pinocchio. Now check this out. Because Pinocchio's nose is this phallus represents resurrection. What's the symbolic language that you didn't catch in Pinocchio? The fact that when Pinocchio lies, his nose grows. You think lying in that sense is him not telling the truth. But when you deal with the language of the Riddler, you got to look between the lines. When he lie, his stain rises. When you lie down in the bed, when you lie down with someone for sex, you have an erection. So every time Pinocchio lie, he get an erection. It's all go back to sex magic. They can't tell that to the children. So they tell the children, hey, when he lie, his nose rises. To a child, they don't know that they being subconsciously programmed with sex. Now, the crazy thing about this God behind me is the red tip of his phallus is why the people in India put the red dot on their forehead, because everybody worshiped the Baphomet. The red tip of his phallus, again, is why the clown nose is red, because the clown is a deity that represents the Baphomet. You see him with his top hat on? He wears a top hat. Here go his top hat. And the red nose is the phallus of the first pharaoh. Now, if you look at this Baphomet creature, where else do we see this red nose and the horns at? On a deer called Rudolph. Take a minute and think about that. Why did Rudolph lead Santa's sleigh? For the same reason why this red phallus is leading this deity. See, when a man get an erection, he's led by his penis. He's no longer thinking with this brain, he's thinking with that brain. And that's what's leading his sleigh. Rudolph leading Santa's sleigh. Rudolph is representing Santa's phallus. And the reindeers coming all the way from Santa up to Rudolph. Rudolph is an erection, folks. The sleigh is Santa's erection. Santa is a god called Saturn. Saturn represented the crossroads as well. Saturn drove a sleigh. Saturn, and we're going to talk about this because I'm just beginning. Now, before I get too far off the subject, let's go back to the clown, right? We sync this with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the Baphomet, and Pinocchio. Now, let's continue. Many other forms of the Joker. Look at here, standing on top of the turtle. We know, if you've been following me, when you see Vishnu standing on the turtle, that we're talking about flat earth cosmology. As above, so below. When you play cards, that's how the cards are made, like Baphomet. All the cards are mirrored, just like this. And the reason all the cards are mirrored that way is because that's the Baphomet hands. The Baphomet got one hand up, one hand down. When you play cards, the game, the whole numbers and math behind the card games being all of the cards, what you got to realize is that the science and math behind that is the same science behind a checkerboard, chess game, the Rubik's Cube, and all this other stuff, even the Monopoly game. All right, so the roll of the dice represents the Riddler, the Joker. And the reason he's the god of the crossroads, because the dice are non-biased. Only thing that make the dice biased is how you interpret the numbers that you roll. In other words, the dice ain't bound to the numbers that's on the dice. You are. If I play a game of Monopoly now and I roll a 7, I got to follow the dice and move my player 7 spots. The dice ain't got to do shit, but let you shake them. They're neutral. That's the way the universe is. It reflects to you. You the one rolled that 7, man. You can't say the dice rolled me a 7. You shook them and rolled them. That's what happens as we enter the crossroads. We shake the dice. What does that mean? As you re-enter the duat, you don't know where you're going to come out at. You may be born in Ethiopia with a poor mama. You may be born with a rich mama. You may be born in a country where they don't even got money. They just live off the earth. Who knows? You shaking the dice at the crossroads. And as you re-manifest, it's moving on the board. You don't know where you're going to end up until the dice is shaking. That's what he represents. The shaking of the dice. That's what this crossroads is all about. The place in between lifetimes, folks. Now they call him the Joker, right? And one thing about the Joker is, I always tell you that the J is see, when you say Javier, it's really Javier. When you say jalapeno, it's really jalapeno. So the Joker is really the hoker. The Joker is really the hoker. Brother Sanchez, what the hell is the hoker? The hoker is the hooker. The great whore, Mystery Babylon. See, other forms of the Joker is the great mother. We know that the real Joker or the real hooker is the great mother. She the one who hooks the soul in between lifetimes. Think of Jesus was a fisherman. Fisherman uses hooks or nets to catch a fish. You're a fish. When you leave the body, the Most High fishes for your essence to put your consciousness back into another avatar. You can't escape the great mother because she's the center of magnetism. No one can. Just like she sent you here, she's going to reprogram your consciousness into another body after this one for another experience. And ain't no such thing as, I don't want to do it. So it's automatic. And it's for your own good so that you can discover who you really are. Every experience is for your own good. So this creature ain't nothing to be scared of. Crazy thing about it, when you become scared of this creature, you create your own hell, because remember, this creature ain't the one scaring you, it's you, the way you interpreting the roll of the dice, the way you interpreting the reality. So the Joker is really the hooker. And the reason the women are called hookers is because earlier, before these male gods started carrying the scepter, the great mother carried the trident and the scepter. I told you that all of these male gods replaced the mother. So before it was the joker, it was the hoker or the hooker. It was you, women. Hooker ain't a bad word. Hooker only became a bad word today because we started calling prostitutes hookers. But the hooker is really a divine word. The hooker is a concept. That's the Nike symbol. The hooker is the Nike goddess, the scorpion goddess Serket. She's the hooker, the joker. But she became just a staff that the gods carry. I told you when the gods replaced the goddesses now accompanied the gods instead of giving birth to the gods. So one of the last forms of the serpent goddess was this scepter that you see Papa Lekba holding. That's you, women. They reduce you to a little cane that we walk on, and you wonder why women get walked all on today. We walk all over your ass. Pimps do. A nigga can. I know when I was in the world as a single man, I can do what I want with a woman. And I hate to put it, and I hate to talk like this, but it's the truth. That's why I'm trying to make up my karma now, speaking up for women. You know, reality tells us to treat women like a product, something dispensable. All right, you put a couple of these holes on your album cover, and then you pay them $10, and man, your shit gonna go platinum. Show a couple cheeks, and then throw that hoe back in the closet. Buy the bitch a cheeseburgers, nut in her face, and just send her ass home. Excuse my language, y'all. I just got to show you the mentality of how they got men thinking about women like some old. You like some throwaway shit. I can get another one. Like they want the world to look at women as some disposable shit. And they've succeeded in that. And we all worship the man, but we look at the woman like, oh shit, man, if you got enough money, you can buy 50 of them bitches and you can have all of them on your arm at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like a product. Like, look, dude, I got 20 pair of Jordans, dog. I got 30 bitches. You just another product now, woman. And that men just carry you around, like this scepter in his hand that represents the woman. So he's a god that don't have a goddess because his goddess is the fucking cane that he walk on. Take a minute and think about that, women. Why none of these gods got a goddess? Because they demoted your ass to the point where you don't even exist in some of these mythologies. For example, Christianity is just Father, Son, Holy Ghost. Daughter and mama ain't nowhere. In China, they kill all the women. If you have a daughter and a son, they're going to kill that daughter. That people in the Middle East, they still stone women. I'm telling you now how we get to this point. Now check this out. Before it was the joker, it was the hooker. And the mother goddess was called a hooker because the ancestor says she's the one that hooks the soul back into reality. When you make a song, the part of the song that's called the hook represent the crossroads. The mother goddess represent the crossroads. But now when she was replaced with this God, he represent the crossroad. Jesus, you got to be born through Jesus because now they replaced the womb, the great mother, with the gods who now represent the crossroads. But the mother was the one representing the hooking of the soul and the crossroads. Now the hook part of a song is the part that tie the whole song together, just like the great mother represents DNA. She ties everything together. She's the great basket weaver, tying all of reality together through the portal, which is her womb, where it all happens at, on micro and macro. So she represents the hook part of the song. She represents the part in between the verses. This is the God in between the worlds at the crossroads. So he carried a hook because the hook is in between the verses. And the verse is what? The plane. A verse is a flat plane. So putting a hook in between the verses is cosmology. We even make music the way the earth shaped, y'all. Let me get them likes up. Hit that like button, man. That's profound stuff that I'm telling you. We even make music the way the earth shaped. Putting your putting the Taurus field in between the planes. See, think about it. What's the most memorable part of a song? The hook. That's why it's called a hook. Because it gets you hooked, man. You hooked to it. And that's why she called the hooker or the hoker. The hooker. Okay? You hooked to this mother. In and out of I mean, this is so true because even when you're born, you hook to her with the umbilical cord, you hook to her. When you leave and they cut the umbilical cord, you still hook to her because you're standing on the ground. You can't go nowhere. You can't fly. Something holding you down to this earth, and it's because you're hooked to the mother nature. It's called density. So she's the great hooker. And she's the highest card in the deck. Why is she the highest card in the deck? Because this hooking take place above your head in the ethereal realm, which is above you. In other words, Nut, or the great hooker, the great mother, exists in the highest of heavens. That's what they talking about in the Bible, the holiest of holies, the seventh heaven. In a card deck, you got 52 cards, and the highest one is the Joker. 5 plus 2 is 7. You got 4 different suits because you got 4 different corners of the earth. You got 4 different elements, 4 different seasons. Okay? So the card deck is cosmology. Now the highest card, like I said, is the hooker because that's the opening of the hyperboloid is what hooks the soul. And that's the high, we call it the most high. In religion, we call it the most high. But in a card deck, it would be the Joker or the hooker, representing the vault of heaven. It shapes like a hook, and it's the most high. Now, the Joker card is also a bee. It's a bumblebee. Why is it a bee? Because the mother goddess also took the form of a queen bee. So I'm not going to go into that. But as you can see, this mother goddess representing the Joker has what? Checkerboards. This is Masonic. But Masonic knowledge don't belong to them. It belongs to the whole world. When you say it belongs to them, you just helping them out because they want to monopolize it. They want you to think it's Masonic knowledge. It's ours. No, it's only on the reason it's solely theirs today is because they stole it. Once we take it back from them and start applying it and taking the spookism away from it, it's no longer a cult because it's no longer hidden. It's now universal again. We want to make the knowledge no longer a cult. We want to put it in the forefront so that it becomes universal again. This is the knowledge that'll help the world progress. And until this knowledge becomes universal again, war is going to be dominant, genocide, disease, and all of that. This the knowledge that we missing to create heaven on earth. So I want you to understand about the Joker, the hoker, and the symbolism, and also how it comes from being the hooker to today we call it the Joker. All right. Now, remember that the colors associated with the Joker in Papa Lekba is purple. Purple is the main color. Purple and black. Of course, black because this is the Reaper. For example, when you look at this image here, the color that they got in the background is what? Purple. There was a movie called Color Purple with 2 black girls. They give you this purple and black on a lot of levels, symbolism. We're going to look at some more levels now. Just wait a minute. Give me a minute. So the colors associated with Lekba is purple. Now, what color is the crown chakra? Purple. Again, get out of the spookism. This God represents the crossroads, which is the crown chakra. Crown is cross. Crown is cross. Crow, crow, crow. Think of it this way. When you look at the word CRO, you're dealing with chronology. You're dealing with crown chakra. You're dealing with the crossroads. Why? Why, Brother Sanchez? Well, let me show you. Let me show you. The crown is the crossing because if you was, listen, you have an aura around your body. And if I can see your aura from a top view, it'll look like a plus sign. It'll look like a cross or the target symbol. That's why they call them crosshairs. They call it crosshairs. If I was looking at your aura from a top view, it'll look like a cross. So this God with the top hat on is you wearing a top hat. The top hat is the crown chakra, as you see here. We are all Papa Lekba. I'm trying to take the spookism out of it. Now, what is a crowbar? Because we're dealing with symbolism. Why is it called a crowbar? Because the word CRO is dealing with the God of the crossing, and that God carried a scepter in his hand. Look at what he carrying, a crowbar. Why wouldn't they call it a bit bar or a 7 bar? They call it a crowbar. What does it have to do with the word crow? I'm telling you now, crow is the root word of crown, chronology. The great hooker represents this band, this Nike symbol called swoosh. It's actually just a hook representing the great hooker or the Joker, the Riddler. This symbolizes completion. This became a check mark. Now, when you make a grocery list, when you complete something on your grocery list, what you put in the box? You put a check mark. That's the number 7 for completion. When you reach a band at the base of a pyramid, you reach an end. A band is an end. Just take the B off. And now it's time to turn because you reached a band or an end. When you die, you reach a band in chronological time, your chronological time. When you die, time no longer exists for you. So there's a bending of your time. Think of it this way. Time is a line. And when you die, you break the line. In other words, you bend the line, you warped it, and you end up at a place in between time called the crossroads. And that's represented by this God right here. Take a minute and digest all that. When you die, this line of time becomes bent to you. And it stays bent until you re-solidify again and it straightens back out again. Then it bends again. Then it straightens back out again. What is this called? A sine wave. You are a sine wave. Life and death is a sine wave. Life and death is just the way the ocean water move. Everything in its reality follows the pattern of a sine wave. It gets straight, then it bends. Then it gets straight, then it bends. And it's just a huge wiggly line. That's why this serpent transforms into a staff and a wiggly serpent. Then it transforms back into a hard staff, then a wiggly serpent. That's the pattern of life, men. Think about your penis. It gets hard, it gets soft. It gets hard, it gets soft. You go to sleep, you wake up. You go to sleep, you wake up. You inhale, you exhale. You die, you be reborn. It's a constant wave. Life is a wave. So the hook represents every time you reach a bend, it's the end of a wave. Right now, you're in the middle point where that surfer is up and he's like, oh, this shit is fun. I'm on a huge wave. But what the surfer don't tell you is every wave got a crash, man. So what they call going to sleep is crashing. When a computer crashes, it just shuts down till the next time when it powers back up. That's what death is. It never loses the information. It's still in the computer. You just had to crash for a minute, man. You know, sort some shit out on a binary plane. You know, because that's what the computer program by. So that computer crash itself, it'll go speaking a language that you don't know, and it's talking to itself, trying to reprogram itself and fix itself. You may be looking there like, what the hell is my computer doing? That computer running a binary language, the ethereal language, the language of the programmer is more of a sine wave. So this hook represents the sine wave. The most tense part of the sine wave, when you reach the highest part of that arch, is what we call death. Let me show you something. See, you exist always in between worlds. Right here is called the earth plane. We walking in between the sun and moon on each side. So this sine wave represents cosmology and you in the middle of your own universe. When you leave this earth plane, you exist on top of Mount Meru, the mountain of the great crossing. Because life is you journeying through the cosmos in a sine wave type pattern. Where we at right now, we're inside of a crater. That's because you come from they say you're a fallen angel, because if you look at a sine wave, you came from the heavens onto this earth plane. When you leave this earth plane, you're going to ascend back to Mount Meru. And when you get to that mountain, this symbol is going to become inverted. See, right now you got two mountains in between you. Excuse me, from where we are now on earth, we're right here in the middle. We ain't met the God of the crossroads yet. That exists on Mount Calvary. When you die, you go up, you ascend on this mountain, and that's when you meet Papa Lekba. That's what that whole phallus is all about. They turned it into a phallus, but it's a dome. This what Nut, this goddess Nut, is a series of domes. So when you leave this plane of existence and you arrive at Mount Calvary, you're in between worlds. When they said the devil took Jesus to the top of the mountain to see all the kingdoms of the earth, you got to think bigger. The mountain that Jesus was on top of was the cosmic mountain called Mount Meru. From up there, you can look at all of the worlds and planes of existence and make a choice which one you want to re-enter. That's the crossroads. Right now, you don't got a choice because you chose this world, so you a crab in the bucket. You can look at this right here as all of us humans are crabs in the bucket. Once Mario go inside of that pipe, he can't climb back in it. You know, Mario traveled through the worlds by going down into the pipe. They told you Jonah was in the mouth of the whale. Jonah in the whale's mouth is you right now in this world. They call this the Pac-Man reincarnation crap. You're inside of the world's mouth. And if you look at this art, they showing you the S, the serpent, the sine wave, with Jonah in that bottom part that I was telling you about. Up here is this journey of the soul, the waters above. This the Merkaba, the journey of the spirit. Once you slide down, you solidify and you're born into the whale's mouth, the belly of the beast, the earth. You're here. you are here. They call this the sweet spot. They said it's the third rock from the sun and it's perfect for life. That's because we're in between, we're in the middle of a sine wave on a dielectric inertial plane. When we die, we ascend to Mount Calvary and the worlds is flipped now. See, right now, on this earth plane, it's different heavens around you. There are the multiverse exists as many different heavenly planes. But when you leave this plane and you're in the heavens, you're looking at the underworlds as heavenly planes. That's why you came here, because you saw this as heaven. When you looking in the mirror at your reflection, it's the polar opposite of you. But what if you become the reflection? Now you're looking at yourself like the reflection. In other words, heaven and hell ain't really heaven and hell. It's heaven and hell based upon your perspective. When you get to heaven, that becomes hell, and this place becomes heaven. The reason you came to this earth, because you saw this as heaven. Now that you here, you see this as hell, because the soul is on a constant journey of climbing the magic mountain, and it's a stairway. If you exist here, when you die and you end up on Mount Calvary at the crossroads, you're going to have a choice which one of these worlds you want to enter. From this view, you're going to look down at a bunch of little worlds inside of these little craters, and it's going to look beautiful to you from the ethereal plane. It's going to lure you to one of them. But once you get there and you born out of a mama, you're going to look back up at the sky like, shit, I want to go up there again. And you're never going to be satisfied, because this is the journey of the soul. The Most High wanted us to be this way to keep it moving. If the moment you get satisfied, guess what you're going to do? Stop. And you're no longer going to be a moving serpent and a sine wave. That's why you never get satisfied, because the spirit is a gypsy. It's a nomad. It's not a settler. We ain't no damn pilgrims in the spirit. Pilgrims don't exist on a spiritual plane. The spiritual is a constant flowing vehicle. So when you look up at the stars at heaven, understand that when you get there, it's going to be hell. And wherever you look at from that point as heaven, when you get there, that's going to be hell. In other words, heaven only exists as a carrot in front of the donkey's head. You will never reach heaven. The Most High didn't intend for you to do it. Heaven is just something to keep you moving. That's all. True heaven is within, is balance. So as you travel in and out of lifetime, if you can harness your own energy, you will experience each lifetime in a heavenly state. See, heaven ain't a place that's going to make you all of a sudden experience euphoria. You can take a negative motherfucker to heaven and they'll still be in hell, man. Because heaven is you. Heaven is the way you perceive any given situation. Heaven is your ability to stay calm and not allow the outside reality to enter your inside reality. Heaven ain't no damn place. Like I said, I'm going to say it again. You take a negative person to heaven, it ain't going to be heaven to them. They going to be complaining. Why they going to be up there saying, God, it's too many stains on these damn streets of gold. Your gold ain't shiny enough. And I understand that you got everybody in golden mansions and everything, but can we have some lazy boy? I mean, and damn, what about a TV remote? You know, you can't satisfy a negative motherfucker. Heaven ain't a place. You can't just pile up some streets of gold, some flowers, and think you're gonna make a negative person happy. Heaven is something you can only achieve within yourself and come to self-realization on how to harness your own emotions and inner, you know, feelings and emotions. But heaven only exists as the carrot in front of the donkey head. When you make it to the North Pole, it don't stop there. The North Pole is a portal into the multiverse. And once you enter the multiverse, whichever plane of existence that attracts you is your heaven. But when you enter that plane of existence, you'll realize that what you're calling heaven is really just the carrot in front of the donkey head. For example, the soul called this place heaven. When the sperm was going to that egg, when the sperm was traveling to the egg, you were trying to get to this earth. And the sperm know that that egg would be heaven. If I can just make it to that egg, I can curl up and go to sleep. And I can manifest inside of this woman and be a germ and parasite off her and be born into a physical reality. The sperm know that. The sperm know where to find heaven at. But guess what though? Heaven is never tangible. When the sperm reaches the egg, which is heaven, it realized heaven wasn't a destination. That heaven is really a process, like a butterfly in a cocoon. I mean, a caterpillar in a cocoon. So once the baby reaches heaven and the sperm arrives in the egg, it realized, man, that's just the damn beginning. You finna be born and the rat race finna begin on this earth, man. It's not heaven. It's heaven and hell. It's always both. It got to be balanced. It's good times and bad times in the lifetime. So the baby come here and say, man, I got to make it to heaven. That was the same thing that the baby said as a sperm cell. When the baby existed as a sperm trying to find an egg, it was saying, I got to make it to heaven. When it made it there, now it's in the body saying, I got to make it to heaven. So heaven is never tangible. Heaven is something that keeps you moving. Heaven creates the sine wave. Listen, man, the moment that donkey gets the carrot, it no longer moves. It's going to stop, lay down, and eat, and it ain't going to take another step. So think of this like a compass pointing to the North Pole. Once you get there, it don't stop there. You enter a portal, and the compass going to keep on pointing. When you enter that portal, the compass go crazy because now it's in the multiverse, and each little cosmic egg has its own little pole in the middle. So if you take a compass into the North Pole, it'll go crazy because it'll be pointing to all the different worlds in the multiverse, each one having its own North Pole. Because you just left one of those singular worlds. From this world, a compass point to the North Pole because you're in one of the eggs. But when you leave this egg, it goes crazy because you're in the multiverse and each one got its own little pole. So I'm giving you cosmology with the Baphomet today as well. I don't just want it to be about spookism. I want to tie a lot of things into this God to show you he represents the crossroads that I'm telling you about. The opening into the multiverse. The cosmic boulevard. So this God was also symbolized as a bull. And we're going to get into that now. Now that I got all of that cosmology out the way, I'm going to take a little break. And we're going to come back now and start sinking it some more with Papa Lekba and move on into this. Because remember, this God is called the hooker. I just showed you the card that the Joker is the hooker. And another form of the hooker is Candyman. You notice that, see, the number associated with Saturn is 5. Now, when I get back, I'm going to tell you why we say Candyman 5 times. You look in the mirror because the mirror represents the doo-wop. I just showed you the card deck. He's the same Joker on the card deck, people. Remember that the card deck represents the mirror. Listen, when you say mirror, you're saying my roar. When you say mirror, you're saying my roar. Your reflection is like a roaring lion. It's a vibration. It's the physical makeup of it's in its direct interpretation of what your soul is, your physical appearance. Everyone is a holographic emanation being projected from the soul. So every body is unique because every soul is unique. Every fingerprint is unique because every soul is unique. Now, mirror is my roar because every physical thing is a vibration. You are a vibration. Your sound vibration. Your image is a roaring of your soul on the ethereal plane. When the lady stops singing, your body dies. In other words, what's holding your physical body in existence is the soul singing on an ethereal plane. Your physical body is the vibration of your soul. Your soul is singing a song, and that song exists as your physical body. Your body is the vibration of your soul. Once your soul stops singing, we call that the body is dying. The song is cutting off. It's fading away. Songs fade out just like humans fade out when they get old. We grow old and shrivel up and we finally die because it's a song. Your life is a song that the soul is singing. And the soul fades that song out and we call it growing old. So when we say mirror, we're saying my roar. Every human is the roaring of their own soul. The body is the vibration of the roaring soul. Vibrating the ether. My bad. So once the ether is disturbed, you're ripped into existence. You solidify. Once your song starts to come on, your mama's stomach starts to grow. You start to solidify. The song fades in just like it fades out. You come into reality slowly but surely. You start to become visible. Then when you leave, you fade out the same. It's a song. And that fading in and out, if you can look at it in a software, it'll look like a sine wave. I'm a music producer, so I know what sound looks like visually because I got software that let me do it. When you fade in a song and fade it out and fade in a song and fade it out, the whole combination starts to look like DNA. If you were able to look at an entire album with, let's say, 12 songs on it, and every song fades in and out, it'll look like a serpent or a DNA strand. Now, people, I got to take a break, and when I take this break, we're going to start syncing Papa Lekba and a Baphomet to Saturn and the number 5, and more deities that represents the bull. And we finna get it in with this God of the crossroads. Hit the like button and I'll be right back, man. I really need to just rest my voice for 1 minute and we finna get it back in. We're gonna get it in. Hey man, let me say, shout out to New Fi Kenny. I timed you out by mistake. What I meant to do was just remove your comment. Uh, we don't want to pick on the LGBT community at all. I'm gonna be showing some pictures with phalluses up there because we talking about occult science. But let's try to stay mature, folks. Ain't no need to be in the chat room talking about homo this, homo that. The homosexual community ain't doing nothing to us. So why do we pick on these folks, man? Like, we here talking about science. And quite frankly, we ain't really even talking about homosexuality right now. So yes, I got phalluses on the screen because I thought I was dealing with adults. You know what I mean? We understand this is occult science. Not then to start talking about homos and getting all immature about. I'm going to time you out every time I see it. I'm not doing these lectures to open up a way for you to pick on gay people or start acting like a damn child. It's a phallus. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all know foolishness gets under my skin. Shit like that will get you an unnecessary flag. You be like, damn, why YouTube took my video down? Cause somebody in the chat room talking shit about homos when the lecture ain't even about them. For bullying grounds and harassment grounds, we're gonna take it down. Be mature, folks. Be mature, man. All right, so let's get on with this because now we got to start syncing this to some more stuff. Hey, appreciate everybody sent in the super chats. I'm about to call them out for sure. You know I got to call them out. All right. Here we go. This is where we left off at. So we left off talking about the mirror effect of our cosmos, the duat. We talked about the Joker, the hooker. We've been synced Papa Lek by the Candyman. This is redundant. I already told you about Candyman. But one thing we're going to point out is that the colors associated with Papa Lekbach is purple and black. And also the colors associated with Papa Lekbach, the number associated with Papa Lekbach is 5. That's very symbolic, the number 5. Because the number 5 represent the crossroads. Let me show you. The 5 dice is the crossroads. So that's why the number associated with Saturn and the Baphomet is the number 5. You know, the 5-pointed star, the pentagram, is nothing but the crossroads. Here it is right here. This is the 5-pointed star. This is looking at the 5-pointed star from a top view. I'm giving you the riddle of the Baphomet because, again, Uncle Sam is the Baphomet with the 5-pointed star. Remember, this country got a building called a pentagram. But what is it? I got to always give it to you, give you the cosmology with it. Here go the 5-pointed star right here. All right, you got your 4 corners and then you're all saying, your last point. This the 5 points right here. All right, when you look at this from a top view, it looks like this. Hold on, I'm sorry, not a top view, from a side view. My bad, I got my directions messed up. So from a side view, you can see it's like a table with a pyramid on top of it. And you see like the legs of the table at the bottom. This symbol in front of you became this symbol. Here go the table right here. And the dome sitting on top is this pyramid right here. You see it's on a plane. And the plane got legs. This is like a picnic table with a dome, with a little diamond sitting on top of the picnic table. This is the mystery of the five-pointed star. The five-pointed star is the flat earth. If you break off of that diamond on the top, it'll just be a picnic table. But once you put the dome on top, it becomes the picnic table with the crystal ball on top of it. You see, it becomes a table with a ball on top of it. This is your five-pointed star right here. All right. I got to sync it all together. Now, why is the number 5 associated with Saturn, the Reaper, and the crossroads? Because the 5th point is the vault of heaven. There's an opening right here in this 5th point. You got 4 corners of 4 points, but they all support this high point, the most high. When you say the most high, this is what you're talking about, that 5th point. It's above all of them. The number 5 is the crossroads number, okay? And I think what I'm going to do at this time is turn on my camera so we can look at the board. I think I need to start showing, actually I'm going to get the board so I can teach from the board right now so I can show you what I mean about the number 5. Now, I don't know how well y'all can see this. Hold on, folks. Hold on, here we go. All right, bear with me here. We're going to get her done. All right, so let's sit this here. Cool. I know it's kind of awkward, but just if you look at this, if you look at the number 5 represents that 5th point on a numerical level. Look at the numbers 0 to 10. The number 5 represents the spot on a table where Jesus sit with the Last Supper. The number 5 is the all-seeing eye because it has a view that no number has. It's a crossroads number. The number 5 isn't bound to small or large because it represents medium all alone. No other number can say that it's medium but the number 5. And that medium position is why the 5 is the crossroads God, because it's in the middle of those worlds. The number 5 can see everything from its position above and below. And in the picture called the Last Supper, the number 5 represents Jesus breaking the bread because the number 5 breaks the numerical system evenly. Without the number 5, you wouldn't have low numbers and high numbers. You wouldn't have a point of reference to distinguish when the threshold began to split small from large. In other words, left and right only exist because of center. In other words, the duat will not be possible without the singularity. and that's represented by the 5, which is the hourglass, the X chromosome, and the goddess. The number 5 is spelled F-I-V-E today, but it was originally spelled P-H-I-V-E. 5 represents phi, and phi is the female, the vagina. The symbol for phi is the number 5. If you know about fraternities, phi is the number 5. Let me show you. It's the hourglass. Phi is 5. The symbol shows you how the number 5 splits the earth plane evenly. Phi shows you how to have things. So when you talk about splitting up a cube and creating a tesseract, you got to understand the concept of the reaper or the ripper, because the ripper is the one that divides the worlds and creates the multiverse and builds the cube system. And it's an infinite pattern of parallel worlds around worlds. It's like a beehive. And when you say beehive, you're basically saying the number 5. Remember, P-H-I-V-E became P-hive or beehive. P-hive is the number 5. P-hive, beehive became the word behave. I hope I'm not moving too fast. This is why it's all about balance, living right and holy, learning how to behave. Why do we say behave? Because the word behave comes from the word beehive. The beehive is an old spiritual religion and worshiping of the bees that taught us to do unto others as we have them do unto us. The old spiritual systems worship the bees to learn. They looked at a beehive to learn how to behave. But the word beehive is also the word peahive. Peahive. It's a, excuse my language, it's a pussy hive. A phi hive. In other words, it's a 5. A peahive is a 5. So when you think of a beehive, it's what? Here's the beehive. The queen bee is at the middle of this beehive, and we call that the North Pole. This symbol of Yahweh's dome world, they symbolized it as a beehive. And what I'm doing, I'm showing you that it became this God's top hat. People, what do they pull out of the hat? Tricks. Anything can come out of that hat, man. Whenever them magicians get to playing them tricks on you, you never know what they gonna pull out of the hat. That's the riddle of shaking the dice at the middle of the earth. That's the crossroads. When you go to the middle of the earth in between lifetimes, you shaking the dice. You don't know where you're gonna end up, but it's all up to you where you end up. So, you know, it's deep stuff when we talk about this deity with the top hat, because the top hat represents all the shit that the magician pull out the top hat is all the different humans in life that come out of the center. A baby is being born, you don't know what the baby gonna look like till it comes out of the top hat on a biological level in the hospital, and the baby is born. And you say, oh, look at him. He's got my eyes and his mama lips. This is the magician pulling things out of the hat. The woman is the portal that pulls all life through the hyperboloid, through her. So, like I said, she was replaced by this God of the crossroads saying you got to be born again through him. but he is a form of Saturn. And the reason I'm bringing all of this up, I think I can move the board. We're going to come back to this board in the future. I'm going to put this up. I think y'all get my point. And we're going to move on now and get back to Candyman and why we say his name 5 times and all of that good stuff. Coming, folks. I'm coming. All right. Get my mic back down and we're going to continue. We're going to continue. All right. So now that we understand a little bit about the number 5, that's going to be important. I'm glad I was able to do that with y'all, getting your brains working about the number 5. Now, when I was telling you about the multiverse, and the multiverse is similar to a beehive, now you see why Candyman, to call Candyman, you got to look in the mirror. And I already broke down to you what the mirror represents, the multiverse. The mirror represents the Joker, you standing in the mirror, my roar. Okay? Everything in reality exists in a mirror-like state. The mirror aspect of our cosmos is represented by the number 5, because the number 5 is in between the mirrors. The number 5 is that crossroads number that represent the hyperboloid. When you looking at yourself in the mirror, you're making a hyperboloid. Whenever 2 human faces come together, it makes a hyperboloid with the negative space. Look it up online. Put in 2 humans kissing. Matter of fact, whenever you look face to face with anything, a hyperboloid is formed in the middle. An hourglass. Nature is so awesome. Look at here. Whenever we kiss, an hourglass is formed. And this is what's at the middle of magnetism. We're attracted to each other. And this negative space must be filled to create this shape. It's so amazing the way nature, ties everything together with this symbol right here. So the reason I'm bringing that up is to show you how it relates to the number 5. This number 5 can be seen as those 2 faces kissing each other, or 2 arrows pointed at each other, right? That's how an X is made, right? 2 arrows pointed at each other. Just pull out a pencil, point 1 arrow this way, point 1 that way, and you'll see they make a bow tie or an X. That's magnetism. The 2 arrows pointed directly at each other, they come together, they make an X. Number 5 is the result of all the high numbers pointing back and all the low numbers pointing up, and they all meet at this central point called 5. So our numerical system is not a line, it's a pyramid. 1, 2, 0 through 4 is climbing up the pyramid. When you get to that doggone 5th point, that's the number 5. Sliding down that pyramid is from 6 to 10. And then you just repeat it after that. Back up it again, 0 to 5, slide back down, 6 to 10. That's all there is. That's the recycle symbol. Recycle symbol is a triangle made out of 3 arrows, showing you what I'm telling you. With let me see, because that 5th point, that 5th point represent the God of the crossroads. Right here, the arrow on top. See, this arrow on top can do something that I'm gonna say it's in an area that the other two areas ain't in. See the arrow on top and look down evenly at both of the arrows below because they represent the duat. When you look at the two arrows at the bottom, they represent the duat. And they got different ways, just like the Baphomet hands point different ways. One of the Baphomet hands point up, one of the Baphomet hands point down. That's the foundation. That's the duat. That's right here, up and down. This one here at the top is the capstone. Each one of these arrows will make its way to the capstone. So you may be at the foundation now, but this is moving. So the first shall be last and the last shall be first. You know, it's a moving symbol. So yeah, this arrow is the capstone, but it's gonna come around and each arrow gonna transition to this capstone. It's called a capstone because look at his cap. Look at his cap. Papa Lekba wear a cap. And the capstone is in position of the hyperboloid where the rabbit comes out of the hat or where Jack pops out of the box. If you look at the negative space inside of here, you get your 6-pointed star. You get your 6-pointed star because it all represents life in micro and macro. This is the riddle of the Reaper. And we talking now about the number 5, because in order for you to get that 6-pointed star and all that, it's built with the number 5, the understanding of the pentagon or the pentagram is the understanding of basically all the sacred geometrical shapes into one. The pentagram is so divine for the simple fact it's a result of blending all the sacred geometrical shapes into just those. See, from any view, you can get any of the sacred geometrical shapes. I can use a 5D pentagram alone to give you every other sacred geometric shape in existence from just that one. And that's showing you how from the point of singularity comes everything else like a ripple effect. So the number 5 is equivalent to 0. The number 5 is the most rhythmic number in the numerical system. You can do it all day. It's some children learn how to count by 5s before they even count by 2s because it's so rhythmic, because number 5 is the number of the Most High. That's why you play games and you count by 5. When you play hide and go seek, that's a game that has represent life and death. Hide and go seek, we played it as children. That's an old voodoo game dealing with the Reaper, going into the darkness and being found. When you play hide and go seek, you count by 5s and you make a circle with the feet because that's Ubuntu. Now, you always do a riddle-like song when you want to count to see who it. We used to say engine number 9 going down Chicago line. If the train jumped the track, do you want your money back? It's a riddle because when you play hide and go seek, the game is based upon Papa Lekba. It's based upon the Riddler. So it's going to rhyme. It's always a rhyming language, and it's going to always lead in on a question. It's going to always end on a question. You know, think of your hide and go seek songs that y'all sung when you came up. They all end on a question, and they were rhythmic because the number 5 represents rhythm. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100, 105, all that is the number 5. All of that is the number 5. That's some deep stuff. Rhythm is 5. That's deep stuff. So when you want to call on Candyman, you stand in a mirror to form a hyperboloid and you say his name 5 times. And what does he do? He come to take you to the ethereal plane. He ain't coming to play fucking cards with you. He coming to take your soul off of this plane and hook you with a hook, because he represents the Joker or the hooker in a patriarchal form, of course. And we know that the patriarchs attach fear to everything that's feminine and sacred. That's why the word scare and the word sacred are really the same word when you rearrange the letters. Because this shit used to be sacred before they made us scared of it with all these male boogeymen. They basically personifying the bee goddesses and the great mother, the multiverse, the journey of the soul in a scary form. Before all of this shit, people weren't scared to die. All of our artwork and literature tied life and death and all of this stuff to the woman, and it took away your fears of death. But when you in a patriarchal world, they need to run it by that fear. Because if you ain't scared to die, then guess what? You don't need Jesus. If there's no fears associated with death, there's no need for none of the world religions. If ain't nobody scared of death, religion wouldn't exist, y'all. So they need everybody scared of death. And how they get everybody scared of death is by hiding the sacred science behind life and death. And attaching it with spookism and hiding the great mother and replacing the womb and a great mother with boogeymen. Now you need something to save you from the boogeyman. So they give you the devil, and then they say, okay, here go your boogeyman. And it's all a mental programming to make you basically scared of death so that you would need a Messiah for death. So religion exists because a bunch of people scared of what's going to happen when they die. So they say, hey, man, I know some folks who said, look, I don't know if Jesus is real or not, but I'm going to believe him because what harm can it do, man? I mean, if he ain't real, then cool. But if he is real, then I know I ain't going to hell. So, I mean, what harm can it do if I just believe in Jesus anyway? And you know, whether he real or not, you know, I got my little card because I believed in him. And it's basically a way of scaring you to believe in this God. But why they need your belief in it? Because everybody believing in this God creates a religious system. You got the tithe now, paying your way to heaven. And it's really paying for your own mental comfort, because you know if you make Jesus mad, he gonna burn you up. But really it's all an illusion that they created to control you with. I'm showing you how all of this stuff became a cult and it became some boogeyman crap. Now let's talk about the number 5. Because I told you Candyman is Jesus, Candyman is Allah, Candyman is Saturn, Candyman is Lakba, Candyman is all of these gods. Mainly also Saturn. And the reason I want to talk about Saturn is because we still talking about the number 5. Now give me a minute. We finna start talking about the number 5 and syncing the number 5 to a bunch of different deities, and it's gonna blow you away how we're gonna sync them. Give me 1 minute to grab my my smoothie. So the number 5 is a pattern that you can see in a lot of deities that's associated with the Baphomet and Saturn. The name Saturn is the name Satan, And the name Satan is 5 letters. The name Jesus, 5 letters. The name Allah, 5 letters. The name Legba, 5 letters. The name devil, 5 letters. And this goes on and on and on. The name Moses. Okay. What's his name? I'm missing one right now. Yeah, Yahweh. The name Yahweh. 5 letters. Dealing with the reaper. How many letters is the word reaper? 5 letters. This is not a coincidence, people. This is a cosmic code because the words we use is associated with the formula behind the number, the magic and sacred geometry behind the number 5. We got to keep this stuff in mind. Like, it's the science behind these things. Everything is everything. And, but what I'm going to do at this time, I'm going to keep the slides moving because I don't want to talk about Candyman too long. I'm probably being a little redundant, so I'm going to go and move on forward for you. This is just a quick refreshment. Papa Lekba with Baron Samedi. Because a lot of folks was asking me, brother, you talking about Papa Lekba and Baron Samedi like they the same person. Yes, they are the same. They the same. Hey, appreciate that, Willie Lil John. I'm going to get in this comment section in a minute and call out everybody that gave a super chat donation. So yeah, this image just what you call it, a recap. I don't want to be redundant, but I will recap every now and then just to refresh your memory. Same deity, and then we'll move on from that. I talked to you about a god by the name of Bandai, who's the equivalent of Papa Lekba. Here he is right here. This is Bandai. A weird, I can't lie to you. I like this god, man. He's interesting looking. But what I don't like about him is still a huge walking phallus. That was my purpose of going through the phallus slides with y'all. I kept showing you this god is still being worshipped. He's a huge phallus. What you're looking at is the penis of Narmer. They called him Bandai in a lot of cultures. He's called Bandai, and that's what he looked like, a walking phallus. And then they got the red little tip part, man. Come on, man, that's just graphic. But a lot of children will walk up to Bandai and give him a hug because they don't know exactly what he represents. They don't teach them that Bandai is a phallus and it's the Baphomet. Just like the minions. They got minions in our culture. They let the kids go up and hug the minions. Minions is another form of this deity Bandai. Like I told you, the whole world worships the Baphomet. This is the minion. This existed before minions. They just giving you the same concept in our culture because all of the elites serve the same deity. Now, we talking Phallicism, modern Phallicism right now in the form of Bandai. And since we're talking modern Phallicism, what I will do is I brought some, I brought my suitcase and I got my slides to sync with this. Just to show you that Papa Lekba exists in other forms around the world in many ways. We talked about the number 5. The god you see here is Dagon. That's 5 letters. Indian god Kokopelli. His name translates to cock obelisk. Cock obeli became cock opeli, Kokopelli. You see the winged penis in the top left corner? That is your Nike symbol. In other words, that's the bird that hovered over Horus and had sex with Horus. They just blended the bird with the phallus, and you got that creature. Is also the Holy Ghost bird, the bird of resurrection, of rise erection, dealing with the penis. I'm showing you this collage to just tie it back to our previous research. It's all Bondi. I'm just want to do these collages real quick, show you many forms of Bondi, the Baphomet, the phallus god. All of these are many forms of them, but we went over this, so I'm just going to briefly flash through them, and then we'll continue on. Like I said, we ain't going to be too redundant today. We'll go back to some more slides throughout the show just to mix it up a little bit. All right, now let's go to the next one. This is Baron Samedi. We just want to take a minute here, look at some of the artwork associated with Baron Samedi. And what we want to pay attention to is everything I've been teaching you about. That this god's colors were purple and black, and he was the Joker. You see Baron Samedi wearing purple and black, and you see that he is the Joker that they give us for Batman. You notice that the Joker never dies. He just keep coming back to life because he's the god of resurrection. See, you got to pay attention, folks. Batman lives on and on and on. Batman never died because Batman just bad as hell. He don't die, so ain't no need for him to resurrect. But the Joker dies many times and resurrect himself. Look at the first Batman and then keep on watching all the Batmans. You be like, hold up, the Joker just get another life, don't he? Yes, because he's the god of resurrection. So purple and black associated with this god is the reason why, let me skip forward. I want to go ahead and skip forward. We're going to come back to all of this in a minute. I got to skip forward because we're talking purple and black. And what I want to do, excuse me. Damn it, where are my slides? Bear with me, folks. Bear with me, bear with me. Purple and black. Let me crawl before we walk. So the colors associated with the Baphomet or Papa Lekba, as you can see, is purple and black. And oh, one more thing I forgot to tell you. His name is Baron Samedi. Baron is not his name. Baron is his title. His name is Samedi, but he was a baron. If he was a prince, his name would have been Prince Samedi. If he was a king, his name would have been King Samedi. You get this, people? I want y'all to understand where I'm about to go with this because I'm finna go somewhere real deep right now. There's something that's higher than the king, and that's a joker. Have you ever played cards before? The card deck shows you the pyramid, excuse me. Hold on. Got traffic outside. Hold on. The card deck show you the rank structure. How you go from the jack to the queen to the king. What's higher than the damn king? The jokers. The jokers higher than the aces and the damn kings and all the queens. But what is the jokers? Because the jokers is higher than all the damn kings and queens. What is higher than our kings and queens in this world? The goddamn barons. The barons are the jokers in the card deck. I'm showing y'all how this Illuminati shit work with these royal families. The rank system. The world think the kings and the queens really running the show, but they taking orders from the barons, and the barons, like I told you earlier, are directly, they in the bloodline. You cannot be a damn baron unless you got the bloodline of the ruling family in your veins. You can marry into the damn king seat or the queen seat. You don't even got to have royal blood all the time in your fucking veins to be a king and a queen. You can marry into that. They got different people that so damn low. They got some sellouts out there so loyal that these sellouts that don't got the family blood more loyal to them than the damn family members. They argue with the royal family members more than they argue with some of these sellouts who just want their money. They'll do anything for royalty. They have a piece of the pie. Even the direct family members with the bloodline ain't as loyal as the poor folks who's taking the oath swearing in. You see what I'm saying? How sick the pyramid scheme is? So I'm showing you how the rank structure go. There is someone greater than the king and the queen, and that's called a joker or a baron. This was the first baron of the Rothschild family. This was the first baron of the Rothschild family. And check this shit out. His name was Nathan Rothschild. So baron is a title. These barons deified themselves. When these barons deified themselves, they became papas. All around the world, you got Papa Lekba, you got Papa Samiti, you got Papa Banda, you got Papa Jesus. You know, all of these papas up under what? The papacy or the papacy. Each papa represents a different lineage of government in that area, all connected to the royal family, the centralized power. All over the world, you got governments set up. Where do they get their power from? From one central source, and it can trace back to Egypt with the rise of the first pharaoh. Here he is right here. So the first pharaoh was the first baron of the ancient world. In 3100 BC, the first family that set up shop, you had the first baron back then. Check this out. Nathan Rothschild was the first baron of the Rothschild family. Y'all see how this go now? Every family worshiped the what? First baron. Every family worships their first baron, and the succession of lineage goes through that first baron. Every baron after him personify themselves through him. That's why all the world leaders assume the image of Jesus Christ. All the barons around the world assume the image of, all the barons around the world assume the image of Baron Samedi. Because this Baron Samedi God is just their way of deifying the very first baron on earth. We're not talking about the baron of the first baron of the Rockefeller family or the first baron of the Rothschild family. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the very first baron on earth from the very first family. That's this guy. And every other baron after him will assume his identity. In case you ain't realized, folks, ain't nothing changed about a goddamn king. Kings wore crowns back in the day. And guess what? Kings still wear crowns today. Barons wore top hats back in the day. And guess what? Barons still wear top hats today. These are the jokers that rule above the kings. And you know what? They are invisible. You probably walk by one of these dudes on your way to work if you live in New York and just don't know how powerful he is. You may not know that the dude in the top hat on Wall Street is more powerful than the damn king with the crown on. You know what that crown is that the king wear? It's a throw off. It's a scapegoat. They want everybody to look at the kings and queens with the shiny crowns so you don't see these motherfuckers who giving the kings and queens their orders. And you may walk right by them. They're invisible in society. Why? Because they don't got on a shiny crown. This is the damn monopoly man. He owned the whole board. This is the monopoly man. He owned the whole board and he do the less flossing. He's very conservative. He ain't flashy. He can walk up in the building right now and people will be like, hey, how you doing? They won't even know it's fucking Nathan Rothschild because he blend right in. This is the mystery of the real hidden power. This the real hidden power right here, man. So these barons still in power. Y'all see what I'm saying here? We're gonna keep on we're gonna keep moving it. Now, what's Barack Obama name? Barack. The name Barack or the name Barry Soweto is because President Obama is a baron as well. He's not a first baron, but he's probably a 12th or 13th somewhere down the line. He's some sort of baron. And what I'm showing you here is that this royal family has nothing to do with black, white, Asian. It's a mixed family. The seed of humanity is mixed, is always have been. And some of that have been tracing their bloodlines, keeping track over all of us, deceiving us while they rule. So they stay mixed and powerful while they keep you divided and conquered amongst races and hate and all of that. But the two races is really rich and poor. Now I told you that the colors of Baron Samedi is purple and black. Purple and black. People don't know why these people in power wear a lot of purple and black on certain days. It's because they giving reverence to Baron, the first Baron, Samedi, or man, Narmer. This is a football team colors called the Vikings, and we'll be getting into that later because the Viking is Odin. The Viking is another form of the Baphomet with the horns. The Minnesota Vikings, the root word men is dealing with the god men. Narmer, the Baphomet, this guy with the cane. That's the first pharaoh. His name was Men. They named it, the Indians named the city after this guy. His name is called Minnesota. So their version of men was Kokopelli. All on this American soil, they worship the Baphomet in the form of Kokopelli. They got cities all over this place named after them. Like I said, Minnesota is one of them. And they the Vikings. All right, and that Viking symbol, I'm going to show you that in a minute, is a god. But purple and black worn by the elites, I'm showing you why right now. Barack name translates to Baron. Barack is Baron. And it's also Barry Soweto is his other alias. Is, you know. So I'm gonna keep this moving. Like I said, the elite wear purple. They wear purple and black to honor the first Baron. Minnesota Vikings. This is the Baphomet. His name is Min, and you can see his horns on his head. And if you want to compare that to something, here you go. They got black forms of it. They got white forms of it. Asian forms of it. Everyone worships the Baphomet, folks. I'm not playing with you. So the Baphomet became a god called a Viking. Now, I'm finna turn up and get real deep. Earlier, I told you that this god was associated with the number 5, right? Well, let me show you something. Another way to say 5 is Vi. Vi equals 5. In Roman numerals, VI equals 5. Or IVV. Yeah, VI is 5 in Roman numerals. Viking translates to 5 king. Vi is 5. PHI is VI. Now I know you said 6 is VI. Vi, when you talk sacred geometry, is pi. PHI translates to VI. Phi is Vi. So, for example, when you talk about the number 5 dealing with the essence of life, the median point, the umbilical cord, that which connects us to the source, we say words like vision, and it starts with Vi because Vi is the all-seeing eye. I told you that the Yahweh's terrarium looked like a dome world. It looked like an eye. So Vi is dome. Vi is dealing with vision. Vi is 5. It's things that are vital. Comes from the hyperboloid. It's vital to all life. And when you say vital, it's VI. So I'm just giving you words associated with these numbers and symbols. But Vi, when you say Viking, translates to 5 king. 5 king. And the 5 king is Saturn, the Joker. That's why the Viking is purple. His color is purple. That Viking is the first baron. But this god Saturn is another form of, again, Candyman with the hook. I showed you Candyman with his hook. This is the 5 king or the Viking. Because the number associated with Saturn is 5. You can see it here. This is the number 5 behind him with a cross at the end of it. Because the 5th point is the middle of the cross. You got 4 points around making the cross, but there's a 5th point, and that's the very middle of the cross where the actually crosses make the crossroads. All those lines intersect and it make a boulevard, a 4-way street. That's the 5th point, and that's why he's the god of the crossroads, because he represents that 5th point where all 4 of them roads connect. Where all the 4 elements connect at the middle of the earth is a portal into other worlds. My bad. So yeah, well, you understand what I'm saying? All the elements break down at the middle of the earth and form a portal into other worlds. So that's represented by that 5th point, you know, and he personifies that 5th point. You know, every time you complete the 5 units, you reach a crossroads. Think of your hand. Once you say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's it. You reach the completion of that unit, and you leave the members of the hand and you enter the multiverse, and now you focus back on the member itself in a macro version called the arm. The arm is one member of the body, but it has some members making it up on a smaller level called fingers. You can count those fingers and it'll be 5 of them, and before you get back to the branch, what they're connected to, the arm. Same way with the earth. Once you reach the 5th point, you're at the tree trunk. Once you walk around a pyramid and count the 4 points around the base, the final point is to climb up the thing and go to the center of it, to the 5th point. That's what happens upon death. You're going around in circles in this rat race, in this hamster wheel called life. And as you walk in circles, you're actually walking up and you're aging up this magic mountain. And death is us reaching that 5th point. But you can't go there with the body. All the elements break down to enter that eye. Because as you travel the ethereal plane, you ain't bound by elements. You're able to look at all of these planes of existence, and they're made out of elements. But from this realm, you're traveling the highway that created the elements. You're traveling the electromagnetic energy grid, and that actually created the elements. So as you travel that, you don't do it as the elements, as the body. You do it as pure electromagnetic energy. And once you enter a plane in that multiverse, you re-solidify. Just like when you add light with a magnetic energy field, the light takes the shape of the invisible energy field. Your spirit is an invisible energy field that enters the crossroads, and when it enters a plane of existence, that invisible energy becomes visible when the elements start to cover it up. That's the only way you can see an invisible man, by covering him. So shit is reversed when you leave the earth. You know, only way you can see invisible energy is by covering it. And that's the covenant. That's the body. That's the Christ. The covenant is the material world have a marriage with the ethereal world. And because of that marriage, you can have a spiritual and material creature occupying the same space. And we call that a human. See how great we are? Now, let's talk some more about this 5 king, this Viking called Saturn, the Reaper. Here he is again, because we just had a Super Bowl take place. And right now, all occultists call this the Aeon of Horus. Remember, Horus is 5 letters, Horus, dealing with the Reaper. We are in the Aeon of Horus right now. If you study occult, you know that we're in the age of the first Pharaoh, meaning they're going to honor him and resurrect him again in this age. That's why we got Donald Trump. Donald Trump's supposed to be a direct representation of the first Pharaoh. The cycle reset it January 1st, 2018 was the resetting of the ancient calendars. Year 1, day 1. This was synonymous with Trump's campaign, with his presidential election. So every 7,000 years, the president that's ruling over us is supposed to be the direct reincarnation of that first Pharaoh. And that's why Donald Trump is so damn powerful today, supposedly. It's his Aeon. It's the Aeon of Horus. And Horus is another form of the Baphomet. I showed you that this god Papa Legba takes the form of the Moloch owl, the Bohemian Grove owl, and the hawk bird Horus, which you call it Isis, having sex with Osiris, but when she take the bird form, it's no longer the goddess, it's Horus. Now, This is blaspheming goddesses like Yemayah. See, old goddesses like Yemayah represented the crossroads before these patriarchs. For example, if you look above her head, you can see the five-pointed star. Nothing that the patriarchs do is original. Here go your five-pointed star on the forehead of the goddess. And as you can see, they turned the goddess into Uncle Sam, the Baphomet, with replace her arms with some horns, or they replace the arms with a top hat to hide her. But you see the five-pointed star on her head, and they turned her to this symbol. You see this patriot man showing you one eye, and he's got the five-pointed star on his head for a reason, and he's showing you one eye. He's representing the Baphomet. And another form of him would be the Rams. This Super Bowl was nothing but a Baphomet ritual. This Super Bowl wasn't nothing but two teams representing the Baphomet. The Rams, you already know that represent the Baphomet, the horns and everything. I ain't got to go into that. So the Rams and the Patriots, both on being the Baphomet, you know, we can get into deeper stuff with it, but I'm just showing you the symbolism. The sports are all red. Here you got Baphomet worship in Kemet. People don't know that this ram in Kemet is the Baphomet. They don't know that this ram in Kemet is this same God called a Baphomet. They'll talk crap about the Baphomet but worship Kemet. Have you ever been on a Black Power channel doing that? Talking about I'm exposing somebody about the Baphomet for worshiping the Baphomet, when if you got any glory for Kemet, that's what they worship. Kemet worship the Baphomet. You can't have love for Kemet and not worship the Baphomet. Any fools talking like that don't even know their own damn science. A lot of people rock the Kemet because they like the fucking colors, they like the clothes, the chains, the unks, but you representing a culture that worship the Baphomet. And we still worshiping the Baphomet today because the Baphomet is Uncle Sam. The Baphomet is this whole system of government of capitalism. This system started in Egypt, man. And they worship the Baphomet in Egypt. So don't let these Kemetic folks fool y'all to worship the Baphomet in the form of Kemeticism. Kemeticism is worshiping the Baphomet. Another form of the Baphomet, we went over it, was this god called Baal. And it ain't too much to go over again with that. I'll be redundant. I just wanted you to see what the different forms. You see the arm raised because that's what the first Pharaoh did when he took his oath. We still do it today. All right. You see why Saturn is associated with the babies. They basically replaced the great mother, so the babies had to drink cow milk. Today, women don't breastfeed no more. They give their babies cow milk. And it's spiritual and physical warfare. We started drinking cow milk when they started cursing the mothers. The dairy industry is what creating the most deserts on earth, people. It's all tied together. The way we eat and everything is tied together with the worship of the Baphomet. So the reason the whole world drank cow milk and not no other animal, because you can use another animal, you know, it could have been pig milk, could have been snake, not no damn snake milk. Now y'all need to cut that out and make a fucking blooper with that. It's at 2 hours and 15 minutes. That's fucking funny. Could have been snake milk. Damn, do snakes got milk, nigga? You tripping. You know I'm tripping. Hey, I'm tripping hard, my bad. But shit, Any kind of milk we could have been drinking. You know, it could have been any kind of milk. But we drank goat milk and cow milk, you know. And that's the worship they God. It's because this goat God replaced the great mother. All of these babies was drinking on their mama's nipples before the patriarchs took over and came with Gerber and Similac and all this damn cow milk. It's all part of their religion. See, religion ain't just about the church building. Your culture and your religion is extended to your diet as well. And the root word of diet is die. This shit determine how you die on all ways. All the shit you putting in your body make you die quicker and die painful. Not only that, all the shit you putting in your spirit gonna make you die with fear. So they feeding your spirit a bunch of fear mongering programming, making you scared of death, and they got you on a diet to make that death come quicker and more painful. This is hell, people. There ain't no place for fucking fires. Some people's reality is literally hell. Their belief in hell is hell. Because when they die, they don't go to flames. It's all in their mind. So their belief in it is the hell. So, you know, the whole world drinking on cow milk today. Why? Because we basically being nurtured under this, basically got the same spiritual practice as the occult. When I say everybody worships the Baphomet and we all Masons, we all occultists, they got us playing a game and we don't know it. They couldn't come make your grandma a fucking occultist. The only way they can make your grandma an occultist is by giving her the occult magic in the form of Christianity. Every religion is a branch of the occult, a dumbed down version to give it to you, to make you on the same team as your enemy and you don't even know it. So when Brother Sanchez come trying to free you and tell you the truth, you going speaking up and helping the people who deceiving you because you programmed by them. I go to showing you the trident and a great mother and you start calling it Satanism because you've been programmed to be in a small occult. They got you brainwashed like how they do their initiates to keep them away from the truth. You only get the truth when you get so high up in it that now if you try to get away, we gonna kill you now because you so high ranking. With much rank comes more responsibility and more secrets you gotta hold and shut your mouth more. The more rank you get, the less you speak. The people that talk the most in these societies are the low ranking folks. Them the puns that's doing a little job to get their promotions and shit. Here's another form of this god ball, but what you're looking at is the Masonic cosmos. Let me show you. All right. This is Masonic cosmology, and of course it is flat earth cosmology. But what you're looking at was also personified as a god right here. The god ball with the two arms showing the two pillars of the Masonic universe. And you know, the bull itself being the most high above those two pillars of the all-seeing eye was also personified as this bull, and the one eye was this little sun disk with the rays coming from it. But it's the same thing. So Masons had the world worshiping the bull ever since early Christianity. This the golden calf that they was worshiping in the desert that made they God mad. See what was going on during that time? The Mycenaeans and the Minoans was going to war. And the Minoans still had the serpent goddess, but they was going through a civil war of patriarch and matriarchy, where they was getting rid of the serpent goddess, replacing her with Zeus during that time. They united with the Mycenaeans. And Zeus, the Mycenaeans was at the same time the Minoans was having a civil war, matriarch versus patriarch. The Mycenaeans was too, but they also was warring with each other, so it was a lot of war. But these two cultures was in a process of leaving matriarchal spiritual systems, going to patriarchal, and they was going to war. The God of the Bible that got mad at the people worshiping the calf is because this God right here was being worshipped. And the God of the Bible was the rising of Zeus. In other words, the people in the Bible who said that the God got mad because them people was worshiping the calf, they was going around trying to force the new cult of Zeus on people. Zeus was becoming very popular and the worship of Baal was going away. So they traded the golden calf for Zeus. And the first form of Zeus was the one who led them through the wilderness, the one with the two damn pillars. Who was the one with the two pillars? Here go the two pillars right here. This the god called Apis and became a god called Serapis. Another form of it was Happy. We're going to talk about these in a minute. God man is where you get the 10 Commandments from. Each doggone tablet is a 5 dice. This is the 5 king, the Viking. And his tablets on his head was replaced with horns. But each tablet represent a 5 dice. And when you put them both together, you get 10, which is the root word of attention. And he's standing at attention or resurrection. This is how the Bible was born, people. This is the God that glues the Old Testament with the New Testament. His name is Jesus. And he does it by his glue or his sperm, his lineage. So these royal families around the world had a great union in 3100 BC that connected the whole entire world powers against the people. And we've been in it for 7,000 years. This was the first pharaoh to lead the new world of the New World Order. And when he rose to power, they was transitioning from the worship of Baal. Excuse me. Let me get my screen right. I can take some of this stuff off now. So they was transitioning from the worship of Baal and going into now the worship of Zeus, the first form of Jesus. And Zeus would transition among so many gods before it became Jesus today. So yeah, this is something you want to realize, that we still worship the Baal or the bull in America. They even say that America's symbol is a bull. But when they got rid of the bull, they traded the worship of the bull with Jesus, and they still worship the bull in a cult as the Baphomet. So when you hear somebody talk about slaying the bull, that just means coming from Old Testament to New Testament. You get it? From Old Testament to New Testament. Jesus replaced the bull. So today they symbolically slay the bull and bull fights and all of that stuff, because Jesus became the God of the new world. Jesus replaced the bull. The bull was the old world governing systems. So Jesus represents this new world, or this new law that we under. And it's like, man, it gets sicker and sicker. Here go the god Apis, another form of the Baphomet. What I like about the god Apis is this blue form that he take. When they show you the god Apis in a blue form, it's a dead giveaway that Apis is Apy. Apis is Apy. The H is silent. Apy is Apis. Now, something else a lot of people miss about the god Happy, of course, you got his bent scepter because, again, he is man, he is the Baphomet. This is a man representing waters of fertility. This is Baphometic. This is, transsexualism in the spiritual systems. He has a pregnant belly and he has breasts with milk. Yeah, whenever you look at the god Happy, you got to pay attention. The god Happy is equivalent to Buddha. This is a dude that's pregnant, y'all, and he got breasts for milk. Here he is representing the X chromosome and the mirror effect with his breasts and his boobs. Man, you know this is not a body style you would want. Now, they're not playing some cruel joke on the god Happy. It's just that when the patriarchs replaced the great mother, these fertility gods had to have boobs. They had to have, pregnant bellies. So again, the Baphomet is a she-male, but since another form of this she-male deity is Apis, and Apis is Apy, we see that Apy or Happy is a she-male. It's a dude with a woman's torso. If I take this head off of him, you'll think this a woman with this pregnant belly and his breast right here. Y'all got to pay attention. This is Baphomet stuff. That's why I'm trying to open your eyes. I'm just showing you this image to show you different forms of carrying the lamb or the goat on your back. The reason you see them with the goat on their back, let me get him off, is because you have the goat on your back. Remember that goat represents the human aura field surrounding your body. So when you see them with the goats on their back, it's the human carrying the aura. I'm going to show you another way. Instead of a goat on the back, some of the cultures just put an arch on the back. Instead of this is another culture where they talking about the human bioenergy field. See, the ancients knew that everybody was enclosed in an aura field, and they symbolized that aura field around their head as an umbrella, the crown chakra, going around their body. This represents the human aura field around their body. And in some cultures, instead of them putting a mushroom on their back, because what this became was the Hunchback of Notre Dame. They turned this is Nut, the goddess Nut bent over. There's basically, she represents the Taurus field bending over Geb. Geb is the human body, and Nut bent over him is your divine feminine, your aura field around your body. So another way of looking at Nut bent over Geb is what we're looking at now. Nut would be the nut or the shell around your body, your aura field on a micro level. So the ancestors made these mushroom stones because they knew that the answers was in studying the invisible reality, the reality that's surrounding the body, nature, the earth, the human aura field, to unlock the secrets within. Everything is a mirror aspect. If you want to learn about the secrets within, you got to study the world without. And if you want to learn about the world outside, you got to study the world inside. It's backwards. Now, this represents the human bioenergy field surrounding the body, where you see them with the mushrooms on their back. But in some cultures, instead of putting mushrooms on the back, they put the goat on the back, because that goat represents the aura field. That goat is a personification of the human's bio electric aura field. Your electromagnetic aura field was personified by the ancients as a goat. And so they carried that goat on their back to say that I was surrounded by an aura field. And you can see why they carried it on the back, because the crown chakra is like a jetpack. The crown chakra is like a vortex chakra. And it is like an umbrella on top of the head. And that became the Baphomet goat with the horns. But in some cultures, instead of making the human, half goat, they just put the goat on top of the human and made it half human, half goat, with the human carrying the goat. Remember, that goat only represents Jesus' cross. That goat represents the God of the crossroads. You don't take the flesh to the ethereal plane. You travel in the aura. You travel by riding the bull, as the Masons call it. So you go through the Father, through the Son, which is Jesus. And right now, the body will go in the ground. The consciousness will shift to the aura, and you'll travel the multiverse through the Merkaba, or the goat. That Merkaba mothership is this goat. Now, ascension is when you can look at that goat on his shoulder like a parachute. The God shoe is linked to the parachute, because the God shoe holding his hands up, connected to the dome being nut, is like a man on a parachute. This is what ascension is, because we're blown upward. If you hold, it's like the winds up from the ethereal plane is blowing you up toward the Most High when you leave the body. So we ascend through the crown. It's like the propeller. As it spins, as this crown chakra spin around, we lift up and we start ascending like helicopter propellers. This is what happened when we leave the body. We crank up the Merkaba. We crank up this Merkaba and we take flight back to the source. And that crown chakra go to spinning, and you lift up. You got your handlebars right here, and you ascend back to the source through the auric body. And that's what this art, that's what this art represents. Ascending back to the source using the goat or the aura, all right, or the macro body surrounding the body. That's what this represents. And they show you this in a lot of cultures. You know, you ask yourself, why all around the world do we see men carrying a goat? That's stupid. Like, everywhere we look in the world, we find these parallels of men carrying a goat. What does it mean, and why a goat? Because during that time, they was personifying a human energy field as a goat. And carrying a goat is the same symbolism. Let me show you something. The goat represents the cross. The goat is the Baphomet, the God of the crossing. Jesus carrying this cross is a modern way of them showing you this. Back in the day, some people carried a goat. As you live in this body, you carry your aura from place to place with you. It's ever present. You can't escape your aura like you can't escape your shadow. So your aura is constantly surrounding you, on your shoulders, helping you decipher reality. It's like a brain outside of your body that connects you with the ethereal plane. So this macro body surrounding you was personified as this God called Papa Lekba, the fatherly figure, because it's over you, the overseer. You know, the parent or the guardian stands over you, and that's because every one of us have a guardian angel, and that's your very aura. It's not separate from you. It's a voice inside of you that appears to be coming from outside of you, because this energy surrounds you and it fills you up. If you look at this image, the energy surrounds you, but it also fills you up as well. So it's an inner voice, but it's the voice of nature outside as well. You know, it's a voice that don't speak to the ears. It is within. It's what we call the consciousness. Yay, nay, you have a feeling when you're about to do something wrong or bad, or you get a feeling when you're about to do something creative. That's the voice, the language of the aura. It deals with feeling. Feeling is vibration. Now, let's keep moving with this. We're going to take that off. I'm going to leave this guard up a minute. So we understand that them carrying a goat is Jesus carrying the cross, because that goat represents the cross. That goat is the god of the cross in the Baphomet, Papa Lekba. You, the crown chakra. Them 5 points, right? Where did Jesus carry that cross? To the 5th point. Calvary is the 5th point. The 4 corners is what you bound to now. You ain't at the 5th point yet. Death is the 5th point. You're carrying your cross to Calvary right now, being in the body, living a lifetime, because that 4-pointed cross represent earth, water, wind, and fire. You're carrying this. Listen, people. Jesus represent the spirit. The cross represent the elements. The soul is basically carrying the elements, because all you are is electromagnetic energy that put on a flesh. When the soul picked up the body, it's now carrying the damn body around. But when the soul get tired of carrying these 4 elements, it's gonna drop them back into the ground, and they're gonna go back to the earth, and that soul gonna continue its journey on the ethereal plane. Your soul came here and made a body in the flesh of your mama. And that's another way of saying that the soul is carrying the elements. When that doggone soul get tired of carrying this body or carrying these elements that make the body, it's gonna drop these elements. And when you call that death, you're gonna drop in the casket in the ground. You're gonna disappear and vanish, because the soul is no longer carrying that cross. The soul has now dropped that cross and gave those elements back to the earth, and now it's again naked as pure electromagnetic energy. Jesus carrying that cross to Calvary, showing you the soul transitioning through the elements, because once he take earth, water, wind, and fire to Calvary, what happens? He transitioned through the elements, because he's reached the 5th point. Calvary represent the North Pole, where all the elements break down and take a journey. And since you're made of the elements, once you reach that 5th point, you're going to break down and take a journey too. The ancestors call it the cosmic journey, and they had boats above Nut. That the people on the boats above Nut in the water are on Mount Calvary, taking a journey that Jesus took on top of the dome. Nut is a dome. She became Mount Calvary. But him in the middle of the mountain represent the opening in the middle of the dome, the sky vault. And that's how he was able to reincarnate and renew himself through the elements, because all the elements renew themselves at the center of the earth, just like all humans. Since everything is made of the elements, you got to renew yourself there too when you give these elements back. That's what Jesus is telling you. The soul carrying the elements back to the magic mountain, up that sine wave that I showed you earlier. Life is hard, man. We carrying the cross. When we put on the when the soul put on the body, it experiences pain. It experiences tired, exhaustion, sickness, but it also experiences happiness, joy. The soul come here to calibrate itself and get that experience in the duat. The duat experience is what teaches the soul how to propel on the ethereal plane, because the duat is nothing but left, right, left, right, left, right. The soul coming here to learn how to paddle. When it leaves here, everything that it learned from the ups and downs of this life is how it's going to swim on the ethereal plane. And the souls that have been through more lifetimes take the deepest strokes. The baby souls that still ain't figured it out yet, they're little bitty cars, little bitty, Them old souls, they live long lifetimes, long loops. Talking about old genies that's been taking this pattern for years, that they can transmit their energy in between the different worlds. They've been carrying a cross for so long. This is the story of Sisyphon. They got this god in the Roman culture carried pushing a rock. I forgot his name. The Greek god, he always pushing his rock up this mountain and he never make it there. What's his name? Somebody probably can remind me in the chat. But there's a god in Greek culture that rolls a rock up a mountain and he can never make it to the top of it. That became Jesus carrying the cross. That is the scarab beetle carrying the dome. Remember that the scarab beetle represents resurrection to the Egyptians. The scarab beetle carrying the dome represent reincarnation, became Jesus carrying a cross. But in older cultures, they carried a goat on the back. And I wanted to show you that because we talking about the Baphomet today. We taking away the spookism. We showing you that the Baphomet in its original meaning is simply just the human aura field. Now, the people who want to spookify it don't want you to know about the knowledge of self. So they want you to go to talking about spooky shit and, that's voodoo. You better stay away from that. That's why don't nobody know about how great they are as a human today and how connected we are to the cosmos. Because all of the knowledge is spookified. All right, I'm going to speed up now. We got to move on. More forms of carrying the goat. That's the good shepherd. This is a god that represents the Baphomet during a time when the Egyptians was having another blending period with the Greeks. A lot of the deities we serve today are Greco-Egyptian deities because the main two superpowers that started the New World Order were Kemet and Greece. These two, what we call in Greece and Egypt. They still heavily influence the world today. The god you're looking at now is a combination of Hermes and Anubis. So you mix the Egyptian god Anubis with the Greek god Hermes, and you get a god called Hermanubis. Now, these are gods they don't like to talk about because they don't want the world to know that the Greeks and Egyptians founded the New World Order, and ever since then, everyone have been worshiping the Baphomet. This is the God of that union. When you go and read in history about the God, this pharaoh called Narmer that rose to power in 3100 BC, they tell you he was the God or the pharaoh that united Upper and Lower Egypt, and they lying to you. He did not unite Upper and Lower Egypt. He united Egypt with Greece. And they don't want you to know that Egypt and Greece united and made American culture. American culture is a baby that was born from Greece mating with Egypt. That's how our culture was born. And the God of our culture is Herman Nubis, or Jesus, the half man, half goat God, Jesus the Lamb. Everybody in this Greco-Egyptian culture worship the Baphomet. This culture has spread it around the entire world, y'all. The royal families have extended their legacy and bloodline worldwide to the point everybody worships the Baphomet today. Another form of, we talked about this god, Zeus Ammon, Jupiter Ammon, Zeus Ammon. Okay, St. Louis Rams helmet. All right, we talked about him. This is Serapis, another form of happy. Rapis, happy. Apis is here, the bull. This is the bull, Apis. And Apis is who? Happy. Now let's talk about happy, because guess what, y'all? Happy is a pregnant man with breasts. And I told you all around the world, let me show you what they did. They transformed this great mother right here. You see her with the pregnant belly, with the breast. Everybody was worshiping the woman before all of these male sissified gods. This woman with the big breast, this mother goddess that predate all the gods, got the huge stomach because she's pregnant. Represent fertility. She's pregnant. And she got the breast, huge breast, because the baby gonna be nursing when it's come out, is gonna need milk. This is all dealing with the great mother. They turned this female into this guy. Don't nobody worship the great mother no more. They traded the great mother for a dude. Look at him, he feminine. If you look at his facial features, he really is a fat girl. This is the Baphomet, folks. This is the Asian form of the Baphomet. They call him Buddha. The Europeans worship the Baphomet in the form of Buddha as well. Look at here. Bacchus is Buddha. Bacchus is the European form of Buddha, and he's a fat white dude, but what they're not telling you is he's not fat because he's out of shape. He's fat because he's pregnant. This is sick stuff, y'all. They turned the great mother, this beautiful woman with her pregnant belly, they turned this beautiful art right here into this shit. I gotta take a break on that. I'm sorry. You got to let your boy take a break on that one, man. This shit is break worthy. That shit's break worthy. Matter of fact, can I roll up me one on that note? Do y'all mind if I take me 5 minutes to roll one? If you say no, I won't do it. If you say no, nigga, keep teaching, I'll keep teaching. I'm on y'all time now. Y'all sending in the money. I'm on the clock. I'm asking my people, can I get a 5-minute break, boss? Can your boy get a roll-up break? Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. I knew y'all was going to do your boy right. All right, now we can get it, y'all. I'm back reloaded. I needed that. All right, so we was talking about the god Bacchus. So let's get back to that. See this god standing on top of the turtle shell? I keep telling y'all about the dude standing on the turtle shell. That's what Mario do when you lock the turtle to get more lives. It's symbolism. When you in Mario game, when you reach in the stairway to the end of the game, if you lock the turtle on the stairs, you get more lives. Any old school people know what I'm talking about. You can only do that on the third level because we talking about the Trinity. It's Masons who made Mario. Mario was a damn Mason. That's why he dealt with bricks. The pipes ain't nothing but the wormholes of the cosmos. Mario represent the macro body. Once you look at the game from that level, it makes sense why he going in and out of pipes, going through warp zones that's above the damn game. Because if you want to warp out of a board, you could just go through the roof. Who remember Mario? All the ancient cosmic sciences of the soul is in that game. Okay, but now him on top of the turtle represent resurrection. Because on top of the turtle is Jesus on top of Mount Calvary. Another way of them putting, during this time, instead of having Jesus on Mount Calvary representing fertility and life and death, they had this fat dude with a pregnant belly on top of the turtle because the turtle represent the earth. Him in the middle of the turtle represent the position of the fifth point, the hyperboloid, where resurrection take place. This is why Jesus is in the middle of Mount Calvary. I mean, on a biological level, is why your pupil is in the middle of your eyeball. It's the entry and exit point. That's the vortex in the middle. Earth is the same, but it's all an ancient desecration of the Great Mother. See the Great Mother? You know, this is awesome stuff right here. But when you transform her into this, it becomes corrupted. The woman is now demoted by these fat belly men. So you don't got a mama in spirituality no more. You just got fat men. We used to have a great mother. Now we just got a father and some fat men and some birds. That's it. You ain't got no mother in the spirituality no more. So the womb energy is missing. So nobody is creating. We're consumers. The womb represents creativity. You take away the woman out of the spirituality, you make a consumer on all levels. Because so much goes away with the knowledge of the goddesses, man. Manifestation and everything, you name it. You know, and now when you want to go to learn about some deep knowledge about anything sacred, the deepest shit you're going to get is Buddha, Jesus, Allah. And they're going to say, hey, you want to become great? Worship this guy. Kneel before him and he'll make you become a better person, when that's not the truth. The better person who you're trying to be exists around you. You just got to find out how to get this idea that's outside of your head into your reality. Because that perfect person exists as an idea that's not in your reality. So where's the idea coming from? The aura. The higher self. We call this shell around you the higher self. It's constantly influencing you to become greater. And whether it had to cause tragedy or mayhem, it will do whatever it got to do for you to become great. So if you live in a bad life or had it rough, be grateful. That's all I'm going to say. This earth reality is here to purge the best out of your soul when it leaves. So it ain't really about this place. It's about what you can take from this place in the form of experience and propulsion for the soul on the ethereal plane. Because it's crazy because that huge body on the outside of you was personified as this. So this is cosmic science showing you the earth, yes, Mother Nature, the great mother, but on a micro level, your aura is this great mother, and your physical human body is the baby inside. The great mother is always around you in the form of your aura. You're still a baby in the side of a belly. That belly is your aura, and it's personified as a great mother. We call it the divine feminine. A lot of people say, Brother Sanchez, why they call it the divine feminine? Why they say you got to get in touch with your divine feminine? Because the higher self was personified as a pregnant woman. So it don't matter if you're a man or a woman. This is a universal concept of the human aura, because the aura is what manifests your reality. It's what connects you to the outside world. So that's why they say speak it into existence. You're basically speaking it, programming it into your own aura that's surrounding your body. That's all you're doing. Once it becomes, see, it exists as an idea surrounding you. Just like they show you these cartoons when they have an idea, they show you a little spinning little halo above his head, and it'll have like a steak with a soda, some TV. It'll have all the ideas that he got on his brain spinning around his head like a halo. They show you in the cartoons. That's what we really going through. All the idea, all them, you see yourself in this great way. You see yourself in the perfect location, in the perfect setting with the perfect, you got this idea, and this is like the stuff that's surrounding. These are the thoughts that's in the outer brain. And the whole thing is about getting these thoughts up here from swimming around this little crown, and you want them to enter the vortex. Once those thoughts, all those ideas that you got about yourself, you're able to siphon them into your reality, that's when they manifest from inside of you. That's when they travel through the heart and back out again into the world to manifest themselves. But they got to enter the eye. If they don't enter this eye, it's just going to be some idea that you constantly be, man, I want to be my greater self, but, I don't know how to, make it there. And it's all about you manifesting it, is bringing those realities into that hyperboloid. And that right there is the mystery of Papa Lekba, because that's the crossroads. You are Papa Lekba, and Lekba is really legacy. It's the and when you think of the royal family, it's the Papa that carries their legacy or their royal succession. But screw them. We're going to tell you the real reason, the real meaning, how it applies to you. You are living legacy. Every soul is carrying out their own will. But the trick of the magician is to control your will and to make you want something that the soul really didn't come here desiring. Do you hear me? Your soul came here on a mission. And by the time somewhere went wrong, by the time you made it out of their high school, you lost sight of your mission and you started wanting to be something else, like a rapper or a Hollywood actor. You started wanting other stuff like Louis Vuitton bags, Jordans, Mercedes Benzes. Prior to that, your soul didn't know about none of that. Your soul did not. When your soul was on an ethereal plane, looking into this reality to come solidify here, it wasn't saying, I want to go there to be a fire rapper, to wear some Adidas, the sport of chain. Your soul came here on a damn mission. And somewhere along the way, you got distracted from that mission and you developed a personality that was not your soul. You became somebody else, a pre-programmed entity that they already had out there when you was born that you would accept one. I always say, if you want to know who one of these guys' favorite rapper is, listen to them talk. They're going to sound just like him. They don't know who they are. They got pre-programmed personalities. Everybody dressed the same. Or you the type nigga that dressed this way if you from Atlanta. Oh, you got on the Timberland boots and a New York hat down low. You from up north. Oh, you got the Dickies on. You in that damn box on the West Coast. So they got everybody in a preset. Who would you be if there was no TV, if there was no brands, if there was nobody telling you who you were? Who would you manifest into? You would manifest into what your soul is. We would be literally looking at your soul when we interact with your body, because the two would be synced. But they disconnect the body from soul by getting the body to associate with a fictitious entity, a fictitious version of itself based upon ego. You don't know who you are. You are who they wanted you to be. You are who the brands promoted on TV. That's why you saying, yeah, bro, and hella bros, like bro. And your fucking pants at the ankles is tight and your shoes big as fuck. And your shirt tucked in just enough so you can show your Louis belt buckle. We know where this style come from, man. That's the style. Everybody doing it. It's like a damn disease. Every generation, when I was coming up, it was baggy jeans. Now it's tight jeans. Every generation got their own disease, what they been programmed, who they want to lock millions of mentalities in this box. That's not who you are. So let's look at some more symbolism with the Great Mother. Because now I'm breaking down to you why we say divine feminine when we talking about the Merkaba. It's the part of every human that has a womb, no matter if you're a man. This is a womb right here. This is a womb, and this womb manifests your reality. Okay? So we putting the two together here. You're a genie in a bottle. This is the genie in the bottle. Now you rub the bottle to access the genie. See what I'm saying? The bottle has to be rubbed, meaning that the energy must flux through the crown in a balanced way. You must be balanced. You know what I'm saying? The opening of the third eye means that the energy can flow through the body balance. All of your thoughts and emotions are balanced, and when that happens, you can start manifesting your reality. Ain't nothing blocking this hyperboloid with depression or blocking it with frustration. You're a king that took his crown off, and since you took your crown off, you're now a servant. Taking your crown off is when we forgot that we connected to the cosmos with our crown chakra. When the humans forgot the knowledge of the human biofield and the knowledge of the crown chakra, we stopped becoming kings and queens, and now you got kings and queens over you, because the crown that would have been over you, you don't know about it no more. You dumbed down today. Knowledge is power. This is the king that ruled over you. It was yourself. It tells you in all spirituality, I am master of my own universe. If you are the master of your own universe, why the fuck someone else ruling over you right now? Because they took the knowledge of self away from you. They took this crown off of your head on a spiritual realm. And when it happened on a spiritual realm, it happened on a physical realm. because you program reality based upon the ethereal realm, the mythology, the spirit realm. Spiritual warfare is the only warfare it is, because everything you call in physical warfare is an echo of the spiritual realm. The war is going on an occult level. So when we took our crowns off on a spiritual level, soon after we became peasants in reality, and we now are, slaves. But it had to happen in spirit first. This show you when we had the knowledge of self, we was powerful, man. The cultures that created these figurines were thriving cultures. People, it ain't a coincidence why all the cultures you go around the world who knew about the knowledge of self didn't have governments either. Let me say that one more time because y'all don't hear me today. All the cultures you research in the ancient world that had knowledge of self did not have government systems. All the barbaric cultures that did not have the knowledge of self had rulers and leaders, and they were fucking barbaric groups of people that went around trying to kill other folks and force their barbaric way of governing on everybody else, because the way they govern is survival of the fittest. The best man win. That's the way your government systems is going to be when you don't have knowledge of self, or when you have some kind of agenda to hide knowledge of self. But people in tune with the earth and that's balanced with the knowledge of self don't need a government system. That's kind of a what they call a no-brainer, or I forgot the word that they call it. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that they got knowledge of self is a governing system. Yeah, none of these folks that made the Mayan didn't have a damn government ruler over them, a first family and all that. They had a thriving civilizations with reciprocity, circular calendar systems, circular timeline, communal systems where the strong supported the weak, and because of the weak, the strong could acknowledge their strengths. A strong person don't know how strong he is till he got to lift a car up off of a baby. It's a yin-yang relationship. What good is a strong people without no weak people to use their strength for? It's 50-50. You may say the woman is the weaker species, but without her, the man can't be a hero. Listen, think about Mario and the princess. If the princess was strong like Mario, he can't be a savior. You can't be Messiah without the weak. The weak is what gives the strong their strength in this essence. Ha ha ha. See how the universe play with you? It ain't the damn strong that's strong, it's the weak. Because a world full of strong people, guess what? No one would be exercising their strength. Wouldn't be no reason to, because wouldn't be nobody to help. You wouldn't have to help nobody. Everybody will be strong. This world is all about learning teamwork. And that's the lesson of this world. Learning how to use your strength to help the weak, and learning how to acknowledge your weakness and accept help from the strong. And until we get to that level, we can't thrive how these ancients did, because they didn't look at the weak people in their society as something to prey on. That only came about in vampire, Baphometic societies like what we in today. And I'll be talking about that vampire shit when I get into Dracula, because Dracula represents a form of government, and Dracula represents a bloodline. Man, I'm gonna be digging deep. But yeah, I know this stream kind of long, but it's long because I'm taking my time, and I got a lot of stuff I've been trying to go over with y'all. And You know, today was a free day after the Super Bowl that I can do it. So let me finish doing what I'm doing and I'll wrap it up in a minute. So here is the symbol of another symbol of Pan or another symbol of the Baphomet, and it's called Tubal Cain symbol. And of course, yeah, this is where your Facebook thumbs up comes from, and the Facebook logo comes from this too. This is another branch of Freemasonry. And what I want you to understand is this is phallus worship. Of course, two balls and a cane is, you know, a nutsack and a scrotum. All right. Now, as we look at this, what I want you to realize is this symbol is also this symbol. I'm finna go somewhere with this and I'm finna blow y'all away. What you're looking at is a pregnant woman. Look, here go her head and here go the baby. But you see it as a phallus. Now here's the duat situation where it becomes a paradox. However you look at this symbol is true to you. So when they corrupt these symbols and transform the mother goddess into phallus worship, it's a magic to it. It's magic to it. It's magic to it. It's not like they really changing the shape of the goddess. They just making you see her as a phallus now. Because this is two balls and a phallus. This is the same as this. But that's a surface level. When you start getting deep into the occult and coming in contact with the goddess, they'll give you this same symbol, but tell you a deeper meaning behind it now. So the first initiation may be learning about the phallus. But your last initiation, what they're going to give you with this symbol is the pregnant lady, the Madonna. Here she go right here. Now, what I want to do is look at the chat room. If you can see the pregnant woman with her baby, with her pregnant belly in this symbol, put a 1 in the chat room. If you can't see the pregnant woman with the pregnant belly in this symbol, put a 2. Let me see how many people can see the goddess within this symbol. Because I'm finna go somewhere with this. Good, that's everybody. Now, they turned the goddess into the phallus, but it's magic to how they do it. Now we finna turn up. Now, I told you, here is the pregnant goddess now. Here go the pregnant goddess from a front view. Listen to me closely. If you were looking at this symbol from a front view, it would look like this. Now, I want you to listen to me closely. When I told you they turned the divine feminine into a man, she became Buddha. She became Buddha, but the word Buddha is the word beta. Think about it. What is a beta male? They tell you a beta male is a he ain't really a manly male, he's more of a womanly male. And that womanly male is the Baphomet, a she male. In all forms, you can see the truth through this language and symbolism. A beta male is a Buddha male because Buddha is a damn fat lady, a dude that's really a woman, a Baphomet, the god. It's a dude with a pregnant belly and facial features of a woman. Anybody know when you look at Buddha's lips that that is a woman's smile? That's a grandmother's smile, not a dude's smile. That's a blushy type smile. And you know they ain't want to put no earrings on them because that would have been a dead giveaway, you know. They didn't want to put no earrings on them because that would have been a dead giveaway that this is a damn she-male god. So instead of putting earrings on him, they just gave him key loins on his ears. You know, why would they give this man key loins on his ear? That's only that only looks good on Buddha because it's really earrings. It's sacred geometry, people. It's playing with your fucking subconscious mind. If you saw somebody with key loins on their ears in real life, you would think it's disgusting. The sight of key loins on a person's ear ain't nothing that's sexy. But on Buddha, it's beautiful art. Why? Because they got them hanging in perfect proportion, just like earrings on a lady. He's really personifying himself as the great mother. And your subconscious will take it in as a woman. Because at the end of the day, the subconscious don't deal with the definitive. It deals with the abstract. It deals with the symbols. And your subconscious gonna interpret all this symbolism as grandma. Grandma. That's what your subconscious does. Now your brain will see this and it's gonna say, okay, that's Buddha, that's fat Buddha. But when you look at the image, it translates to the subconscious as grandma. And that's why Buddha is worshipped. Because he got that grandma energy, that Holy Ghost, baby, come lay on my shoulder. That kind of energy that Jesus allowed his saints to give him. My bad with the weed. We're going to wrap this up in a minute. So a beta male is a Buddha male. I'm just tying it all together. Here he is right here. See, the word beta is the word Buddha. And you see why now. You see why it's also the tubal cain. Because Buddha replaced the great mother. When she became, a male, she became a beta male. Think about it. Any woman dyke is going to always be a beta male. Because she's originally a woman. So she may be a butch or a bulldog and all that, but to men, she's going to always be a beta male because she's a woman that became a man. So when this great mother became a man, she became a damn beta male. Or a butch. And it's amazing that the symbol of this she-male deity is the tubal cain symbolism. So another god associated with Buddha in Egyptian is this guy, Happy. He's also a beta male. We would call him a beta male today. If a man showed up looking like this, look, you'll say that's a beta male. With flowers and shit in his hair. Come on now, a skirt on. Look at his damn eyelashes and his hairstyle. It's a reason they make these guys feminine. It's a secret to this beta male shit. When guys just throw the word around, they don't know how deep this shit go. They don't know how deep it go. But I think we've arrived at this ending point so far. We've arrived at an ending point concerning this God, Baron Semitic, Papa Lekba, because I went over a hell of a lot of stuff. Still got a lot of stuff to go over, but I tried to cram it all in this one. But shit, we can only do so much on one stream and this one getting too long. Oh, next will be in the next stream, what we'll be doing is let me show you what we'll be doing in the next one. In the next one, we'll be syncing Papa Lekba, Baron Semitic. You see how he got the red tip on his phallus, and I was telling you about Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. He became Rudolph. This god became Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, leading the sleigh of the Baphomet. Here it is right here. The red nose is his doggone penis. And the horns is his head. This God right here, this African Baphomet, became the reindeer that lead the sleigh because it's telling you Santa got a hard on. It's all symbolism. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is Papa-elect by Baron Samedi. Now, I'm glad I ended it on that because that kind of brought it all home and tied it together with the whole Saturn Santa. The Saturn had a sleigh like Odin. Odin is the Viking symbol, the purple. So I did a lot of stuff today. You may want to redo this and dissect it or whatever. But, here it is, man. This is Zeus Ammon. Rudolph leading the sleigh, man. That's Polaris. That red nose. Yep. This is phallus worship. So we're going to be getting into more modern phallicism with this Monday Mystery School. And then we'll be wrapping up this series going into another subject. We got a lot of things to talk about, but it's a lot. So these things going to be long and the series will continue. But I hope that you be enlightened by it and stay entertained or edutained. Next one gonna be even dope, man. The next one really gonna be dope. Now listen, hit the like button and hit the share button, and I'll do a live stream again tonight. We'll have an open panel. You know what I'm saying? So let me call out all the people supporting the show. Before I get out of here, I gotta acknowledge the people that's making this whole movement possible, man. And there's the people that gave super chats today was my brother Travis. Shout out to him. He said, "Hey bro, I'm always working and never get to get on here. Finally got a day off." I'm glad you did, Trav. And make sure you hit that bell to stay getting them notifications because they'll unsubscribe you and all that. But Travis, if you want to get on an open panel, let me know that too so I can get you on there. Shout out to Lost Stewart. Appreciate y'all for these super chats. Travis, my brother Lost Stewart came in and decked me up with the 33 because y'all know I'm a 33rd degree Mason. And the brother Lost Stewart is a 33rd degree Mason. So he hit me up with the super chat 3333. So I'm just giving y'all the symbolism here. I had to give my trolls some little footage to go and make them a little clip and say, "See, he is a Mason." I had to give them something, man. Y'all know I got to be silly, man. I got to, you know me, I got to be a dickhead. Anyway, let me give a shout out to Willie. My brother Willie Lil John been coming through, man. I appreciate that love, my brother. I appreciate all y'all for the super chat donations, man. Shout out to the brother LaShawn Thomas. Said, "Much love, family." Saluting Sanchez. Man, I salute you back and I appreciate all of y'all. My brother Willie Lil John been holding it down. Appreciate that. Queen Namaste Ashe says, "I appreciate your knowledge, bro Sanchez." I appreciate you, my sister, and your support. Everything you guys do. Shout out to that sister. I like that name. Queen Namaste Ashe. That's refreshing to say. I gave you a wrench, by the way. Shout out to you, my brother Be Strong. I hope you come on the next panel with us, my brother, because you know what I'm saying. You know how we get it in. The brother Be Strong been support me for a minute, man. Shout out to the brother. He said I was on fire today. Appreciate that, Be Strong, my brother, and my brother Arian Knights. Peace to you, my brother. Thank you for your super chat donation and your support as well. I appreciate every last one of you guys. And like I said, I have time later tonight. I'll be going live again. And, maybe we can start picking on some of these schools of thought. Maybe if y'all send me some emails, maybe we can go and school the New Wapians some more. Or school the Moors, because it's a lot of things we can teach our brothers who corrupted in these little occult schools. They all worshiping the Baphomet. They don't know that we got to get back to the Great Mother. The Moors wear the fez. They don't know it's the crown chakra. The New Wapians don't know that the name of their movement is named after the mother goddess in Asia. Her name was Nuwa. So we got a lot of teaching to do. We can have some open panels. We can challenge some of these schools of thought. We can turn up. Y'all email me, especially if you want to debate or steal, sharpen steel, or just sit down and build, or if you just got information to share. We're going to have open panels, man, and y'all know how we get it in. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to go and get up out of here. Shout out to everybody out there in that chat room. I appreciate y'all. Real talk. Peace and love, people.